The 93X Half-Ass Morning Show podcast is sponsored by Standard Heating and Air Conditioning.
We all know January is one of the coldest months of the year, and not that cheery, fun kind of Christmas cold. Nah, just the dark, dank January cold. Standard Heating and Air Conditioning is well aware of this, and that's why they're offering $40 off a furnace tune-up to keep you warm during the Minnesota cold. The last thing you want is to be huddled around an iffy space heater you bought from some shady targeted ad. Oh, and how about this? Standard Heating and Air Conditioning has now been helping Minnesotans for over 95 years. So book your appointment now at standardheating.com. That's standardheating.com.
The 93X Half-Assed Morning Show, Backtracks Edition.
You want to be creeped out real quick? Well, it's something you're going to have to do on your own. I'll just tell you a rough idea. I'll tell you what I know. And then this is something you can do in your spare time, unless some of you already know about this kind of thing. And this isn't like Scary Movie or Scary Halloween Story creepy. This is for any and all seasons. This will give you a more general creepy feeling once you get around to looking this up. Last night, the friggin' wife comes at me with her cellular telephone. She says, "You want to see something?" And I was thinking, ooh-wee, okay, she found a new dirty movie for the two of us to watch or something, right? No, that wasn't it. I don't know Dick Tracy about this AI. I know AI, Josh, it can write a story for you. We've had that conversation, right?
Yeah, it can do all kinds of stuff.
Yeah.
Okay, right. See, I know nothing about it aside from recently you and my friggin' wife showed me how maybe AI can help us with some of what we have to do here for show prep.
I've tried it for formatting or summarizing. You know how it is, like you have an article that'll take you, I don't know, the rest of the day to read, and you can say, like, summarize this to 12 paragraphs or whatever.
Okay.
That helps.
That's the limit of what I know about AI, unless I'm forgetting something. So the wife comes at me with her cellular telephone, and she's showing me a picture of a child. And I look at the picture, and I say, well, what am I looking at? And she says, well, this is our child. And and I said, well, what? Apparently what she did with AI, that's the term she kept using, she loaded into her phone a picture of her and a picture of me, and then AI spit out what our child would look like.
Oh, you know, that technology's been around for a while.
And here we go again.
I'm not trying to kill the thing.
I know.
I'm just saying,
I'm joking.
I did that with, I can't remember if it was right after high school. It was around there.
Oh, wow.
After high school?
Yeah, very shortly after high school. Remember when I first started working here and I was dating that very conservative young lady?
The one with the...
No. She was anything from conservative.
Oh, the one who was kind of a scientist or something?
Not before
like a doctor?
That. No, she was a teacher. Anyways.
Teacher.
I was 2021 when I dated her, right when I first started working here.
You were 20 or 21.
Didn't I say that?
Yeah. I pictured the year 2021. Oh. I thought, my God, that was only 3 years ago.
No. I was 20.
No, I don't remember this gal. I guess I don't.
But we did that. And I remember going, oh, wow, what a beautiful child we could produce together. And she thought he was hideous.
Oh, really?
She thought he was really ugly.
Yeah, I did this, I think, oh, geez. It's been some months now. But, yeah, I did the same thing.
Okay.
Because they, came out with, they have, obviously, now with AI being so big, more advanced versions.
I'm sure.
Oh, God, yes. And the friggin' wife spent a lot of time on this. Or I don't know, maybe it's instantaneous, the result.
Yeah, she didn't spend any time.
Well, but...
Except she did have to go and probably find the perfect photo of both of you.
Oh, I don't know about that. But here's where I'm going with this, is not only did AI create dozens of pictures of what our babies would look like, but what they would look like at 7 years old, what they would look like as young adults, what they would look like. It was just the creepiest friggin' thing, because I'm looking at these children, and yes, I can see, what's the word I'm looking for? A resemblance to both of us. I had never seen anything like that in my life. It was partially funny, but also a little bit unnerving.
It is a bit unnerving.
It was so strange to me.
The technology's come a long way since my my youngest was born. By the way, it's his 13th birthday. I noticed you guys didn't say anything yet.
Happy birthday.
And he...
I'm taking him to the strip club later.
You'd actually really appreciate that. I've told you a couple stories. But so he, when he was in the womb, they were able to take, what do they call that? Not
like
a screenshot.
Like a 3D.
Yeah, the 3D
image.
one.
That's cool.
I forgot there's like a term that it's escaping me. Everybody knows it but me.
An image of the baby in the womb.
That's 3D, right? So you can kind of make out more features. Because the regular one, to me, looked like a weather map.
Oh, yeah, like a regular ultrasound?
Ultrasound, that's it. I couldn't pick out what was what, and then they're like, oh, yeah, here's this. I'm like, oh, yes, clearly that's what that is. And I couldn't tell at all. I had no idea what was going on. That looked like a El Nino storm front coming in for me. But the 3D version was so creepy, I thought, this kid needs to bake longer for sure, and I don't even know if I want him coming out. He looked like a devil baby. But I've heard that it's way, way more advanced than it was 13 years ago.
Well, but let me ask you this. You and this gal from 25 years ago, you were mentioning, this conservative gal you were dating?
Yep.
The two of you, how did that process work? The two of you were able to see pictures of what your babies would look like?
Yeah, she just did it on the computer. There was something she did on the computer.
Wow. That's a long time ago.
I know. Yeah, it was not like the world's greatest photo. I mean, now it's crazy. It looks like a real person. You could tell you could tell it was a computer image, certainly.
Okay.
Yeah. But now it looks like a real person.
Oh, my God. I could not believe what I was seeing. And like I said, it was kind of funny, kind of creepy, definitely interesting.
Did you name any of them?
Yes.
Did you fall in love
With
any of the children?
No.
Oh, so it'd be like if you had a real kid?
It was a boy and a girl.
Oh. Twins or...
Well, that's kind of that's the joke we started throwing around because, I'm a twin. And I think, doesn't that increase your odds of keeping that ball rolling?
I believe so.
Right. So we joked around that they were twins. Yeah, we gave them names.
What were the names?
The little girl was named Denise.
Oh.
No reason. That was just the first thing that came to mind. And I've always wanted to name one of my sons Rod. So it was Rod and Denise.
Really? Can I ask you something?
Yeah.
Wasn't there a Denise in your past that was a bit wild?
I like the name Rod. Yes. Was there a Denise in my past? Oh, God, yes.
You've told me stories.
Oh, it was a wonderful time.
No reason.
It was a wonderful time. Gorgeous. I mean, just gorgeous. So anyway, okay. If you haven't heard of this, maybe it was extra creepy because we are a childless couple and pray every night on our knees to remain that way. Not that we could reproduce at our age anyway, but maybe that's why it was more creepy to me, because this is just something I've never had presented in front of me. I mean, there were pictures of the little boy, Rod, my son. He's got a backpack, and he's waiting for the school bus. And then it was him at Little League. And then at one point or another, Cubby, Rod was wearing a jiu-jitsu outfit. It was his karate class. And then here he is as a young adult going out. He's wearing a leather jacket.
Oh, they grow up so fast.
He's wearing cologne. Yeah, he grew up quicker than hell, Rod did. Denise, I didn't
His hair's disheveled, and he's standing next to something that's measuring his height, and you realize, it's a mugshot.
Oh, God.
Now I know it's a Bourne.
Was there a picture of him at a high school beer party?
No, but it looked like he was on his way to one. He was wearing a leather jacket. I think he had some cologne.
Did you pick a godparent for him at all?
Yeah.
Who's the godparent?
Dane.
Oh.
But anyway.
What about for your daughter?
See, in keeping true to Bourne tradition, I kind of forgot about the daughter right away and focused more on my son, Rod. I don't know. Denise, she ended up a junkie, I think.
Oh, that's too bad.
She ended up a junkie living in Arkansas. But anyway, if you haven't seen this kind of thing, you and your wife, you and your girlfriend, husband, boyfriend, sit down and do this. You'll remember it for a while at least. Rod and Denise, if you're listening, Daddy loves you very much.
It'd be interesting for people who do have kids to try something like this with how that advances now, to see if it looks anything like your kid.
Mm-hmm. Oh, that would be nuts if it was like just spot on. Oh.
Here's what threw me also, and I won't obsess about this anymore, although God knows what the friggin' wife has planned for me now, that she's shown me, these AI images. Maybe tonight we'll go through Rod's wedding photos or something. I don't know. But what threw me is every picture of these AI children that belong to my friggin' wife and I. They were so clean. And I remember pictures of me as a child. I was always I just looked like no one had cleaned me. No one had done anything with my hair. Our children, Rod and Denise, were models, just absolute, put them in a catalog models where the real pictures of me and my brother and sister when we were kids, we were just little dirt piles.
That's true. I mean, I've got a bunch of pictures of the kids, obviously, on my phone, and a lot of them, they're covered in either marker or food of some sort, that kind of thing.
I remember my kindergarten, first, second, third grade pictures and looking at them now and wondering, there was no adult in the house that had a brush or a comb, Just like I could it looked like I'd just been spit out onto the stool for my class picture.
Yeah, we don't have very many pictures either. Just there's a couple when we were kids, and my brother and I, you'll notice we have bowl cuts. My dad used to give us bowl cuts.
Right in the kitchen?
Every summer, he'd just shave our heads.
At least you got some kind of cut. Christ's sake. Anyway, there's something to see. Oh, God. Remember later on, 9 a.m., concert announcement for you and some tickets to boot. And we barked it out earlier. Toys for Tatas 2024, November 22nd at Rick's Cabaret. Friday, November 22nd at Rick's Cabaret. And I like that early date. I do. That's how you get your full-on holiday season cooking, is cold beer, strippers,
charitable acts.
and good-hearted charitable acts all balled into one.
In whatever order makes the most sense for you.
Exactly.
All
right.
Oh, go ahead.
Yeah.
Oh, geez, I didn't even see the time here.
You had one more thought?
I was just going to, we're not going to have time now. I was going to ask Ashley how the Halloween party went. I was glad you were here.
Halloween
I didn't know if you'd make it in or not.
party.
Yeah, from Friday. Yeah, it went great. Yeah, thank you for asking.
You had a Halloween party on Friday?
Yep, I had a couple friends over. Yeah, it was a great time.
What'd you dress as?
I was a killer, and my boyfriend Jeremy dressed up as cereal. Yeah, we had
We
fun.
got to go.
I know you weren't gonna. like
for
it.
Christ's
Ashley, thank you for taking the heat off me with that whole salad bar at a steak place
Dude,
thing.
we spent like an unnecessary amount of time trying to figure it out too, and we landed on that. I was like, we could have done better.
It's fitting that you were a killer because this morning now you've become a morning show momentum killer with that announcement. You were a killer and your boyfriend was cereal.
Yeah, and then we dressed
just
up,
when you think you know somebody.
You know what? I'm going to make it worse, Nick. We dressed up on Saturday as well. We went out for a cool dinner, and we were like, all right, we're going to be comfy. He was, we had like those big onesies on. He was Cookie Monster, and I was Elmo.
It was quite cute.
Oh, I saw those photos, and I couldn't tell what you guys were. That's what you were. Okay.
Yep. I'm sorry, Nick. No.
All right, I'll
I
take the
tonight.
heat off Ashley now by telling Nick that I was Bruce Springsteen for Halloween on Saturday at the same event with Ashley and Jeremy.
Thank
I
you,
also
Dana.
didn't know what you were.
Yeah.
And I bet nobody did.
One guy got it. He goes, "Oh, you're 80s Bruce." I'm like, "Yep, 80s Bruce, baby."
Yeah, you walked in, and I was like, oh, Bob Ross. No.
The wig was a little over the top.
You killed Nick, and he's a new father. Way to go. Poor Rod and Denise, no dad to grow up with.
Kids are going to be orphans.
The half-assed morning show backtracks.
Oh, Americans, I should say, most common nightmares. I'll go 10 to 1. Number 10. Being injured is our
Don't
10th.
remember ever having one of those.
Our 10th most
No,
common
neither.
nightmare, being injured. Yeah, I'm racking my brain. Not that I remember a lot of nightmares. There's a few that I'll never forget. But, okay, none of us, I guess, have experienced that, but it's common enough to make the top 10.
Yeah, never been hurt. No,
A
weird.
nightmare about being injured. Number 9, a loved one dying.
That's very sad.
Yeah,
Luckily,
I've had those.
You have? I haven't had that.
I've had one where like I was the reason why. That was awful.
Oh, geez.
Like murder or?
Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
I was taking.
How did you kill a loved one in your dream?
What was it?
You were
What did
taking
I
a poop?
pick
Is that what
up?
you're going to say?
No, I was trying to remember it exactly. I think it was just like a shovel or an axe.
You
It was
killed them.
something that was on top of the head. I remember that.
So it wasn't accidental. It was a murder.
Yeah, it was. At the time, I was trying to find like the right anxiety medication that worked, and sometimes you can have like crazy nightmares or crazy dreams.
That's
from that
what I
kind of
hear.
Stuff.
That messes with you.
Oh my gosh, that one messed me up. Like it was my brother. I had to text him the next day to make sure he was okay because I was like,
I killed you in my
head.
dream?
Yeah.
I'm sorry. Now you're saying you remember specifically you killed one of your brothers with a shovel?
Yep. Yeah, he was trying in the dream. He was trying to hurt one of my dogs.
So I've heard the quitting smoking drugs have.
Dude.
Those ones are outrageous.
yeah.
My sister-in-law and brother-in-law went through it, and both of them said it was just absolutely crazy, the dreams they were having.
Just
It's so
dripping
vivid.
with blood and guts and screaming
Yeah.
violence when you try to quit smoking and they give you this particular dope. Yeah, I've heard people say if they could sell their dreams to Hollywood, it would be the most horrific movie that anyone has ever. Okay.
I've never had a dream about a loved one passing away, but I kind of had something that was the opposite. It's a couple years after
A fantasy?
Well,
I've had fantasies about loved ones passing away. I have.
it was a couple years after my beloved childhood dog, Cody, rest in peace, passed away. We had to put him down. Beautiful boy. I had a dream that because I was in college at the time, that I stopped by my parents' place and they said, "Hey, go up in your room. We have a surprise for you." And I went up in my room, and there was Cody, alive and well and excited to see me. And I woke up just crushed. When you realize it's a dream, I was just devastated. I was like,
That's sad.
Cody was alive for a little bit. It was so wonderful.
That is hilarious.
I've had a dream. People coming back into my life who were terrible people. People who
sure.
I was glad were out of my life. I've had that dream many times. I know, Nick, you've had that dream too.
Okay, sure. You just when you think you're rid of someone, and you are in the real world, you have a dream that somehow they're back into your daily life. Oh, sure, I've had that dream. It's miserable.
Nightmare.
All right, our 8th most common nightmare. Waking up late. Oh, God, what time is it? Yeah, those are...
I wouldn't call that a nightmare. That's
No, it's like a stress dream.
yeah, somebody's telling you, but I murdered my brother in my dream last night. Oh, man, I dreamt that I was late for work.
Good point.
I suppose maybe that shouldn't be called a nightmare, but we've all had plenty of those.
Especially if
sleep
you
right
nap
through.
during the afternoon during this time of year, right?
Every day. Every day I nap during the afternoon. Number 7, okay, maybe like Josh said, I didn't think of it this way, but maybe we shouldn't call these nightmares. But number 7, the most common nightmare we have around here, missing an important event.
I've had, not necessarily that, but not being prepared for an important event. I've had that dream where whether or not it was work, where I show up and realize, oh my God, I did no prep last night. I have no idea what's going on today.
And then bingo, you're live.
yeah,
Right.
it's like, here you go. Or nothing's loaded up, nothing. Or
Stress
school
related, work
didn't-
related.
Yeah, didn't study for a test. I remember back in school thinking that.
Oh, I still get
Yep.
those all the time.
That's because you never studied for a test.
Exactly.
I always got those. I'm still surprised I still get on like server nightmares where I'll wake up in the middle of the night and I'm like, oh my gosh, wait, I forgot to give somebody their ranch.
Oh, I get those dreams where I just hear the ticket keep coming. You know, when you're in the kitchen, tick, 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 tick.
Order up. Order up.
God,
Order up.
That's the worst noise. Someone, please get this food. Hands.
And chef.
As far as a dream or nightmare about missing an important event, it brings me back to there's only a handful of dreams that I will remember forever. And for whatever reason, this one stands out. In the real world, many years ago, a guy that I used to work on air with, the two of us were scheduled to interview Gene Simmons and Paul Stanley from KISS. This was 1996 or 7, and I had been waiting my entire life to meet any member of KISS. I hadn't at that point in my life. And so this was incredibly exciting for me. This is before KISS became the silliest act in America. 1996, they had just reunited. It was just, I could not believe that I was going to have this opportunity. So, this is all in the real world. The night before Gene and Paul were to come in studio live and sit all day with us on our morning show, the night before I had a nightmare to where I was sitting in my chair in the radio studio, and my partner, my on-air partner, said, here they are, Gene Simmons and Paul Stanley from KISS. In my dream, I went blind as soon as they walked in the door.
Oh, weird.
Oh, no.
So I was unable to see them.
Oh.
Everything went fine the next day, except Gene Simmons was an incredible douchebag on that day. Our sixth biggest or most common nightmare, being attacked.
I've had that, and then you try and run and you can't move.
Yep.
Oh my gosh, yeah. I used to have a reoccurring nightmare where I was riding a bike and it was just like stuck in place like a stationary bike.
And you were attacked?
Yeah, like I was getting chased. Yeah, I was constantly getting chased.
That brings me back to the Tom Brady dream, being attacked, my Tom Brady dream from all those years ago. Number 5, the most common nightmare, feeling trapped. Maybe you're in a cave or buried alive or in a house that you can't get out of, something like that. Number 4, feeling lost.
I do have those dreams where it's like I'm leaving Target Center, I'm trying to find my car, but things in Minneapolis are all jumbled around, and I'm just walking aimlessly trying to find, my car or trying to get home, and it's very stressful.
Is it the feeling like you've had so many times being fired over and over and over again from every place you work? You haven't been there long enough to know where you parked your car.
Exactly.
You're looking for it.
It's my first day.
Number 3, you have a nightmare of your death.
I don't believe I've ever had that nightmare.
Like every time before I die, that's like when I wake up, usually.
Oh, I should be more specific here. Maybe not specifically death, but dying.
Okay, yeah, then
because there are still some people who say it's very rare to die in your dream.
Yeah,
like,
people have always said, or I've always heard, it's probably a wife's tale, that like if you die in your dream, you're dead in real life.
Yeah.
Yeah, usually I'm like...
That's absolute silliness.
Yeah.
Right. I heard that in first grade, I think.
Yeah, usually I'm like falling off like someone chases me, I jump off a building because I hate heights, and then all of a sudden I'm falling, and then before I hit the pavement, that's when I wake up.
Okay, number 2 is being chased.
I have that one a lot.
Yeah, I have
Who's
that one.
chasing you, Dana?
Somebody who
Not
wants to
a
do
group
harm
of
to
women,
me.
I would imagine.
No, God, no. I'm chasing them, and then I'm actually being chased by the police for chasing the pretty women.
Number 3 is dying, as far as our most common nightmares. Number 2 is being chased. And, okay, back to dying. I do specifically remember dying in one dream, and that was the Tom Brady dream. Okay, all of what we've been discussing here in the last 2-3 minutes comes into play in the top 3 most common nightmares. Number 3, dying. Number 2, being chased. And number 1, falling.
Yeah, I have that one a lot.
Do you really?
Yep.
Oh, that makes sense,
that's
'cause you're
probably
afraid
like
of heights.
Yeah, for nightmares, that's probably the most common one for me.
I have the falling ones where it's not I'm falling off a building or a cliff or anything, but I'm walking, all of a sudden I just like fall, and then I jolt myself awake. That one happens quite common when I'm napping in the afternoon.
Didn't you once have a dream, Ashley, where you were carrying 2 bags of soup and you fell and broke your face
Oh,
open?
no, that wasn't a dream. That
Oh,
really
that
happened.
happened.
Yes,
That
that
happened in
happened.
And then you sent us all a gnarly picture from the ER of your face just covered in blood.
Yep. First thing I thought, like, I got to show the guys what happened.
A third of people have had the dream about teeth falling out. I've definitely had that.
I've had that.
Oh, I've never had a dream where then the teeth fall out.
Me either.
Have you had the,
There's a listener who's texting in and insisting that if you die in your dream, you die for real. No, you don't.
How would anyone know that?
yeah.
Well,
Such a good point.
I can tell you that. I died in one of my dreams, but I woke up just fine the next day.
I'm saying, let's say you're an anomaly, and 9 out of 10 people die in their dreams die in real life. How would anybody ever know that?
Right. Now I see what you mean.
Now I'm thinking of a lot of them. I had this one nightmare where I was swimming and I got sucked into like the what would it be called?
The drain?
Yeah, like the drain.
The arms of a serial killer.
Yeah. So I got sucked into the drain. Like,
The
my
drain.
swimsuit got stuck in
Yeah,
the
it's
drain and I
terrible.
couldn't get back up.
Oh, no.
And that's killed people, sadly.
Oh, that kind of a drain? That suction bubble thing?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yep.
1 in 4 of us have had a nightmare. This is hilarious. 1 in 4 of us have had a nightmare about their spouse leaving them. Are we calling that a nightmare? Some less common ones. 14% of people have had nightmares about car trouble. Some folks have had a dream where they can't find their car.
Dana.
Yeah, that's me.
Some folks have had Some folks have had a bad dream about a tech malfunction.
That happens to me all the time.
I bet it
And
does.
It's work-related.
Sense, yeah.
Shoot, it happened like in real life 3 times today.
Yeah.
Some people have a nightmare about going bald.
Well, it sucks at first. You get used to it.
If you go bald in your dream, you go bald in real life.
Are you serious?
Yes, you do.
The half-assed morning show backtracks. There's a douchiness to them.
The 93X Half-Assed Morning Show.
Dana here for Standard Heating and Air Conditioning. We all know January is one of the coldest months of the year, and not that cheery, fun kind of Christmas cold. Nah, just the dark, dank January cold. Standard Heating and Air Conditioning is well aware of this, and that's why they're offering $40 off a furnace tune-up to keep you warm during the Minnesota cold. The last thing you want is to be huddled around an iffy space heater you bought from some shady targeted ad. Oh, and how about this? Standard Heating and Air Conditioning has now been helping Minnesotans for over 95 years. So book your appointment now at standardheating.com. That's standardheating.com.
This episode is brought to you by Progressive Insurance. Do you ever think about switching insurance companies to see if you could save some cash? Progressive makes it easy. Just drop in some details about yourself and see if you're eligible to save money when you bundle your home and auto policies. The process only takes minutes, and it could mean hundreds more in your pocket. Visit Progressive.com after this episode to see if you could save. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates. Potential savings will vary. Not available in all states. If you're listening to sports mixed with pop culture, sprinkled with celebrity interviews, then your earbuds are enjoying the Rich Eisen Show podcast.
None other than Jordan Love of the Green Bay Packers, Detroit Lions, Jahmyr Gibbs. It is great to see you, Brian Dawkins. And there he is, Justin Jefferson, Kyle Brandt.
Wow, Jody Foster was on the show. I missed that one. So Clarice Starling is sitting here saying, well, should I start Greg Jennings? I don't know. He's tough against the Vikings. See, this is what I'm talking about. It's really cool hang here.
The Rich Eisen Show. Follow and listen on your favorite platform.
Half-Assed Morning Show. 93X.
Welcome back to the show, Dr. Andrea Johnston from German Animal Hospital in Minnetonka.
Good morning.
Good morning.
How are you?
We're doing well. How about you?
I'm well, thanks.
You know, your past professional advice on this program made me look like a rock star last weekend. We had a little, was that last weekend we were hanging out in friggin' Wisconsin?
Yep.
It was.
Total nightmare. It was a total nightmare from start to finish. But we were in Wisconsin, and a listener was rapping with me. I was rapping with her, and she said, this and that. Okay, I got to go. I got to get my cat to the vet. And I said, oh, what's the problem? And she said, oh, the cat's got these kind of scary little bumps on her chin. And I said, oh. I said, I bet you I know what that is. I bet you that's cat acne.
Yep, you got it.
Because you had told us before when cats get little bumps on their chin,
Yep.
they develop acne, just like an uncomfortable 13-year-old seventh grader or something.
Dana has cat acne.
Yes, he does.
It's really weird.
So I told the gal this, and sure as hell, she emailed me later on that day or texted me, I forgot, and said, you were right.
Oh, I love it.
It was
That's
simply
awesome.
cat. It was nothing to worry about. So I gave you all the credit in the world.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah,
That's
there you
great.
go.
Glad I can help.
Question for the pet doctor.
Yes.
Why does my Dane like to eat her own and my other Dane's poop? She's never had puppies. I don't, does that have something to do with it?
Oh, yeah. I think we talked about, dogs that are pregnant can eat weird things. But, yeah, I think we talked about this before. If I had $1 million to answer this question, I would, or if someone gave, I'd be a billionaire if I knew the answer to this, honestly.
Mm-hmm.
So, unfortunately, it happens more often than you'd think. It's like a second meal. We call them poopsicles in the winter because they're cold. They're even more of a delicacy.
Yep.
But
It's just
honestly, there's nothing that I have found that works to stop poop eating besides cleaning it up right after they do it.
Yeah.
When you have
how do we let
Danes,
these?
especially two, you kind of got to clean it up. Like, I'm out there every day because there's so much of it.
I
It's
can't even
insane.
imagine your yard.
It's
I
crazy.
bet it's horrible.
I'm out there every day, every single day.
Your neighbors have probably called the police before on your yard.
No,
and
like
you
I
don't
said,
know it.
I'm really out there. One time, so I thought I had a genius move, and my wife shamed me so much on this, I stopped. I would take the little shovel scooper thing, and I just I see where they're going, and I just put it there and catch it.
Yeah.
I know it's ridiculous, but I thought this is a genius move. But my wife She wouldn't let me sleep in the bed for about a week. She thought I was a psychopath.
And Josh, you don't know this, I think, but after I clean up my dog's poop, I bring it to your yard and just scatter it in there to add to the piles you already have.
You know what I wouldn't notice? But it's probably half the size.
Oh, yeah, without a doubt.
I've also done that, Josh. I've caught it in flight.
Oh, you have? Did
yes.
somebody shame you on
I was all by myself, so no one said Dick Tracy. But I became, probably because of my OCD, I became obsessive. Now, my current dog, the cutest dog in the whole world, Gertie, she uses a litter box like a cat. She never goes outside to go potty. She's got her little litter box. She knows where it's at. She uses it.
So cool.
But when I had an outdoor dog, I was also obsessive about it, about being on top of that task and never letting it go. And maybe part of the reason was when we were kids, our yard was repulsive. We were such lazy kids. We would never go out there. We had 2 Springer Spaniels just bombing the yard constantly. And I don't know, I look back and wonder, how did we live that way? It was horrible. Our friends would come over and say, my God, look at your yard. We'd try to play football. Someone would land in it. It was just... So, Josh, I'm with you. I'm on it as soon as it's happening.
I will say the first time one of my dogs was like, whoa, what's going on back there? What are you doing? But now they're fine.
Yeah, who are you to stand behind me creepily?
What's your plan here, pal? And what are you doing with that? That's mine.
Interestingly enough, I don't know if you've ever noticed this, when a dog poops, they stare at you.
Yes, they do.
And actually, I was reading something recently that they do that as like a security blanket. Like, you're here, stay with me.
I had heard that as well.
Vulnerable right now.
Yes.
Yeah.
I heard that about cats, too.
Oh, really? I don't know.
Usually they're kind of standoffish.
Yeah, the dog needs you in that moment, Josh.
My favorite
you to make him comfortable.
My favorite is when the dog is taking a poop in the front yard and another dog or a human walks by and he starts barking at them while he's pooping. So you do not look intimidating right now, bro.
No. Dr. Andrea, a listener, has texted in a question. What's the most interesting crossbreed you've ever dealt with?
Oh, wow.
A liger?
Yeah.
A liger coming to the office?
Oh, I mean, we see some crazy stuff, especially with those genetic tests out now. A dog will come in and it'll be like a Heinz 57 of a million different breeds.
Yeah.
But I will tell you, when I worked at the University of Minnesota, I had a Frenchie come in that was pregnant with Labrador puppies. So they bred a Labrador and a French Bulldog. That didn't end up very well, unfortunately.
No. Oh, really?
You imagine how small a Frenchie is, how big a lab is.
Oh, no.
Yeah, it was, she was not comfortable.
Oh,
that's
no.
For sure.
That stuff is, there's more of that going on than ever before.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yep.
People want this cute combination. And so, what's your overall opinion on that, on this obsession now with the crossbreeding?
Well, I will tell you, the actual mixed breed dogs, like the shelter dogs, the foster dogs, they actually, I feel, live the longest because they're not being inbred a million times over.
Okay.
So a lot of these dogs coming up from the south, they've got the street smarts and they're tough, and they've not been inbred as much as what we see with these like Woodles, which is a Wheaton and a Doodle, a Schnoodle, a Schnauzer and a Doodle.
I have a Schnoodle.
Bernedoodle.
Do you really?
Mm-hmm.
Have you memorized all these cute slang terms
there's
now?
literally there's a new one every week.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You have a what, Dana?
A Schnoodle.
And that is a Schnauzer and a Poodle.
Yep.
Okay, I can't picture what that would be like.
Everybody's looking for the next designer mutt.
That's the word, designer. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
It's
So-
interesting to me.
Yeah.
Can you look at a dog and just instantaneously know exactly what it is or the combination?
No. Oh, gosh. When they do those genetic tests, they'll come out and they'll be like, this is, 3/4 Dalmatian and 1/4 Dachshund. And you're like, how? This looks nothing like either one.
I've heard Dalmatians are pretty wild.
They can get a bad rap. They are not the friendliest dogs.
Oh, they're not friendly. Okay, I just heard they're like super hyper.
They're very, very hyper. But they can be temperamental, for sure.
They'll kick your ass, Cubby.
How about a Newfoundland here who, when the Newfoundland eats ice cubes, he throws up?
Oh, yeah. That happens a lot. So there's something called a vasovagal response. So there is a nerve that runs along the esophagus. So when that ice goes down and it's cold, the response is a vagal response where they can vomit.
Oh, no way.
Yeah.
One of our dogs loves ice cubes. He absolutely loves them. I'm glad that doesn't happen.
Yeah, some dogs it does not. It just kind of depends on how close that nerve is to the
Josh,
esophagus.
I used to have one of those things on the door, those ice makers, and my lab used to be able to run up and hit it with her nose to get ice.
They're so smart.
Wow,
She
that's
figured
impressive.
it out. Yeah.
I got it. Well, my dog's more like into like a I don't know, like Eminem or Busta Rhymes or something.
Oh, no, I'm talking about actually frozen water.
Does coconut oil really help my dog's teeth?
No.
No.
You're
wasting your time.
That was quick response.
You're wasting your time.
No.
There's really no scientific evidence that coconut oil helps.
Well, can you explain to me why they even had that idea? Have you heard about this before?
You know, people do a lot of funny things with teeth cleaning. You know, I have had a client that uses hydrogen peroxide to clean his dog's teeth. Well, we also use hydrogen peroxide to get dogs to vomit when they've eaten weird things.
Oh, no.
Oh, yeah.
You know, and there's nothing that is... we see funny things people do, honestly. There's a lot of...
Home remedies?
Yes.
Yeah. All right.
Now,
Along those lines, somebody wants to know if there's an easy way to make a dog's breath smell better.
A couple Tic Tacs.
Our dogs, they can get pretty bad. We bought them these dental chews you recommended.
Yeah.
Maybe a muzzle?
My God, they love those things.
they're so, yeah,
They go
love
in,
'em.
They don't look very good, but they go insane for them.
Yeah, they're great, and they have that chlorhexidine antimicrobial in them, too, so that can help. There's some things you can add to the water, like a chlorhexidine rinse. There's also, I've heard recently, I've not used it, a product called Teef, T-E-E-F, that can help. You put it in the water to help with oral odor. Otherwise, a professional dental cleaning.
I don't want to get too far away from what we were talking about a minute ago.
Yeah.
So you were talking about ice cubes making a dog vomit.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And you use, what was it again, to make dogs vomit when they eat something?
So there's actually two things we use. Hydrogen peroxide.
Right, that was it.
Yeah. At home, you can do that if your dog has ingested something.
Okay. So we were talking about dogs eating poop. So it's not like I'm, breaking into some disgusting realm that we don't want to. What's the most interesting thing you've ever seen a dog spit up for you?
Oh, man. Oh.
A cat?
Oh.
Did any of them cough up a cat?
You would not believe the things we've seen. I had a dog this week that chewed up a leash and vomited it up, and I had to actually get gloves on and section the leash because he said it was about 18 inches and put it back together to show the owner.
Oh, my God.
Yeah, absolutely.
Leashes.
Yep. When I worked at the U of M, I had 3 German short hairs get into chocolate, and that whole hospital smelled like chocolate. I mean, it was everywhere.
Every day was Valentine's Day.
Yeah.
over there.
Just brown, too.
But not like,
Same thing
socks,
Oh,
shoes.
gosh. I mean,
yeah.
socks, pacifiers, leashes. We see a lot of underwear.
Yeah, they love that underwear.
Yep. Tampons.
Oh,
I mean,
really?
unfortunately, we get a lot of garbage eaters.
Yeah. That's fun. That's fun for everyone involved.
Great. It's fun when you
Yeah.
go in there and find it, too.
Yeah.
Physics teacher Jesus wants your opinion on a Maine Coon cat. He said, someone in my neighborhood lost theirs. Will this thing eat my kids? And he said, be nice, the class is listening.
Maine Coons are actually pretty sweet cats. They're just huge. I mean, they're the big ones with the big fluffy tails.
Oh, yeah.
Definitely won't eat your kids.
All right, nothing to worry about.
I wouldn't worry about that.
They are big characters. Yeah, they're big.
They're big, but
big and bad.
typically they're pretty chill cats. They're pretty calm.
Yeah, I like a chill cat. While we're talking about kitties, a listener has texted in about his cat marking him, meaning rubbing.
His leg
Oh no, he's talking. He mentions that the cat rubs his face all over the owner. And
Yeah.
That's what this person refers to as marking.
Yeah.
And he's just kind of curious, what's that about? The cat will smash his face into its owner's face, smash his face into the guy's hands.
He owns him.
That's the cat's way of saying, this is my guy.
Yes.
Okay.
They also have pheromones. Like they have pheromones along their lip margins that they can actually release too. So that's his way of marking his owner.
So
Oh my
you
gosh, that's
you
so
should feel
cute.
complimented
Yeah.
if your cat is.
You know, it's interesting because cats will do that to me in exam rooms. Well, they'll rub their bodies up against my leg
Yeah.
to kind of mark their territory.
Well, that means they like you right away.
I think so.
That's very sweet.
Well, you're very likable.
We're
Minnow
talking
does that
with
to me all the time. time.
We're talking with Dr. Andrea Johnston from German Animal Hospital in Minnetonka, and we got time for a few more questions before we got to take a break. Cubby?
From Logan, how can we help our dog get through the loss of our other dog this week? He seems to be affected by it, and we want to know ways to help make him feel better.
Oh, sad. I'm sorry. So it can take a good 6 to 12 months for that other dog in the house to grieve, especially if they're pretty close buddies.
Mm-hmm.
I have put dogs on Prozac after they've lost a housemate. So there's medication you can use. You can get a pheromone collar that you can buy it online. They wear it, and it can be calming and soothing for them too.
Speaking of designer, that's a sad deal. Speaking of designer mixes, Golden Doodle. A Golden Doodle comes into play here. Caulk Jesus texted the show. 10.5-year Golden Doodle. When I roll her over to scratch her belly, she has like a floating lump. It kind of floats to the touch, she says. This is concerning to me. I wonder if it's just like a fat lump.
Yeah, I mean, it's possible it's a lipoma or a fatty lump, especially in that location. But I would recommend getting the dog in, and we can actually do a fine needle aspirate where you take a little needle and poke it, put those cells on the slide, and look at it under the microscope.
Could be trouble.
Yeah,
but,
with that age, as they get older, just like people, we see more cancers.
My dachshund had those little fat lumps everywhere.
Yeah.
It was kind of fun.
Some dogs are more susceptible or predisposed to those.
Yeah,
speed bags.
Little fat chunks all over him.
My cat, this text says, has a chronic UTI. She's on prescribed UTI food, but still gets them. What can I do to help her not get them?
Is she like a little floozy or something?
Yeah. So I would worry about kidney disease first and foremost. Make sure your cat doesn't have kidney disease because that can make them susceptible to UTIs. Sometimes that little bacteria can climb up from the bladder into the urethras, into the kidneys, so it could be more so of a pyelonephritis or a kidney infection. Make sure you're culturing that urine before and after treatment to make sure you're using the right antibiotic and make sure the infection's cleared after the antibiotic therapy.
Okay. Damn UTIs, man. They even invade the animal world.
Oh, all the time.
Oh, those are ouchy.
Yeah.
Maintenance manager Jesus said, my dog Bruno keeps getting a weird red lump on his eye. He gets it for a couple weeks and it goes away, but it keeps coming back. I looked it up and I saw something about a third eyelid. How do we stop this from happening?
That sounds like a cherry eye to me, which can be actually...
Cherry eye?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, a lot of bulldogs get them, French bulldogs, but any breed can get them. So, they have that third eyelid in the corner that can come up to kind of protect the eye itself.
Okay.
So that, unfortunately, there's a gland there that can invert, and it looks like a cherry that comes out. It can be repaired. If it's on the eyelid margin, though, that could be something called a meibomian gland adenoma, which is benign. But you can repair. If it's in the third eyelid, I'd get that checked out.
Wasn't there a song in 1990 about a cherry eye?
Cool drink of water, such a sweet surprise.
Yep.
Looks real good from her head to her thighs or something.
Yeah,
what the hell is that?
She's my
cherry eye. Speaking of eyes, a listener has a cat with a lazy eye. The listener's curious how much the cat can see out of it. He has no problems walking around or anything like that or eating. He just looks goofy.
Wow.
How much can a cat with a lazy eye, huh?
Yeah, I mean...
That's kind of cute.
Yeah.
Some breeds, like Siamese Persian breeds, they can be cross-eyed and their eyes can go in kind of goofy directions, or they can have some rapid eye movement, which is normal. The cat can see, and if it didn't come on suddenly, I wouldn't worry too much about it if the cat's always had it.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
It does sound kind of fun. Or what'd you say? Just kind of funny?
Yeah.
Lazy-eyed cat. Goofy. And before we take a break, any vaccines, Dr. Andrea, that you don't recommend?
Oh, wow. Usually I get vaccines that I do recommend.
Yeah.
But rabies vaccine, obviously, for a dog and cat. Distemper vaccine, that kind of protects it against a variety of fatal viruses. Leptospirosis, I do recommend. That's waterborne from raccoons and beavers and all those things that we see in this area. Lyme vaccine is effective for ticks. Anything I don't recommend. Bordetella, kennel cough, I recommend. So coronavirus, we don't really vaccinate for much here. We don't see a lot of coronavirus, so I don't. There used to be a Giardia vaccine, if I recall. I would not recommend that
What's
either.
Giardia?
Giardia is a waterborne parasite.
Yeah.
I got it in the Boundary Waters in high school.
Oh,
it's
no.
not fun. I will tell you that. But
Sick as hell?
oh gosh, it's horrible. So yeah, Giardia did have a vaccine for that, but no longer.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Dr. Andrea Johnston from German Animal Hospital in Minnetonka. She's done a wonderful job again this morning answering questions from our listening audience about their house pets. We got a few more to go. You got a few more in you, Dr. Andrea? Excellent. I think you answered this before, but if I remember right, the answer is so adorable that I wanted to cover it again. Maybe this is the liquor talking, but I thought I remembered in past appearances, someone asked about their dog sneezing, and I thought that you had said that sometimes dogs sneeze out of sheer excitement. Am I making that up?
No,
yeah.
they can.
Okay.
If they're really amped up and they're sniffing around.
Our dogs do.
Yeah,
Okay.
they can do that.
When they're humped, they sneeze.
When they're what?
When humped. I want to be very clear. That doesn't happen in our house.
Okay.
Oh, you meant to say pumped?
I meant to say pumped and hyped.
Oh.
And it came out humped.
My God.
Got it.
My dogs have never, to the best of my knowledge, never been humped in our home. Yes.
The question that came in, the text that came in for Dr. Andrea, why does my dog sneeze so aggressively, especially in the mornings? And the first thing that came to my mind is maybe the dog's just excited. Everyone's away. I mean, could that be it?
It could be. It's kind of like a yawn, too. Like they're up, they're stretching, they're clearing their airways, that too. But also when they're excited.
Kind of like when an old timer crawls out of bed and he's just all that stuff, you know what I mean? Just clearing everything out, getting ready for the day.
Cute.
Yeah.
Let's see. Okay, here we go. We've been frontlining our dogs and cat recently, but they still get fleas. What gives?
Yeah, so you might need to get some Capstar. So there's different phases of insect growth or the different life cycles of a flea. And there's certain types of preventatives or actually treatment for fleas that works a little bit better. So I would look into Capstar, which is another product that gets a different phase of that flea life cycle.
You really didn't skip any classes at the U.
There's never been a time where you've even had to think for a second.
I mean, you're even discussing the life cycle of a flea.
You know, the stuff you would not believe the stuff we had to learn in vet school.
But you remember it though.
Well, you see it. That's the thing. You know.
You never escape it. You see it every day.
We're actually the real doctors.
You
see
are.
Everything.
Yeah.
Well, that's what they say. Like, don't you guys go to school longer than like a general practitioner, or is that a myth?
No. I mean, I did an internship after my 4 years, but it's very similar to medical school. We just don't specialize in one. You know, you can't ask an orthopedic surgeon to tell you to look at a skin issue, right?
What was the biggest, baddest party you ever went to at the University of Minnesota?
Oh, gosh. We were all kind of a bunch of nerds.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, in vet school. I mean, undergrad's a different story, but vet school, we didn't do much. We had a lot to do, lots to study.
Josh just asked a question, a flea-related question, and that plays perfectly into what I have here next. Dr. Andrea, do you believe that flea and tick meds are linked to seizures? This is a story somebody heard.
Oh, I get this question all the time.
Yeah.
So there is a warning on certain types of flea medication, or flick and, oh gosh, now you have me go doing it. Tick and flea medication.
It's my fault.
At least you didn't say hump.
Oral medications that if your dog has a history of seizures, they should not take that medication. It doesn't cause it, but it can exacerbate seizures in seizure dogs.
That would not be good.
Correct.
Fair enough.
This person says, I've got a 4-year-old black lab. When I clean his ears, what comes out is black and kind of sticky. Is this something I should be concerned about?
Boy, I've seen that many times before.
Really?
Sounds like yeast. I would get your dog in to have an ear smear to look to see what type of ear infection it is. Probably needs some treatment.
Oh, that would scare me.
I had a dog who had that same problem.
Oh, you did?
Black, pasty.
Typically yeast.
Smells terrible. Yeah.
Our dog's ears can get kind of stinky. I've never seen anything like that in there, though.
Oh,
yeah.
These dogs, I'll tell you. Single woman with 2 cats texted into the program. Single woman with 2 cats. Oh, what an adventure this sounds like. Over the years, she says, I have had male visitors stay the night. Wow.
Hey.
What in the hell is going on over there?
You
I have
fun.
had male visitors stay the night. Recently, I had a guy over, and my cat peed all over his clothes while we slept. My cat has never done that before. What could this mean?
He was mad.
Yeah.
He was mad.
Bad news.
It's jealousy.
Yeah, or marking territory, or I mean, I see this a lot. Piles of laundry on the bed, they urinate. They'll do it on places almost to just kind of stick it to them.
Do you think, were they a decent judge of character? Like, should she maybe pay attention to, if this hasn't happened before?
I mean, you might want to, do
wonder?
some more research before.
Yeah, maybe this might not be the guy for you.
Well, did he come back? That's what I want to know. Did this guy come back? If he did, then you're special. Because most guys would say, well, I'm not going back to that friggin' house. A cat peed all over my...
Cat pee's the worst, too. It's so hard to get that smell.
I've never had a cat pee problem.
Oh, you're lucky.
All the cats I've had in my life were so well behaved with that, they never peed on a damn thing.
When you were looking for houses, did you ever go into a home that had a cat pee issue?
Oh, gosh.
Not that I'm aware of.
Oh, you'd know.
Yeah, because you'd be able to smell it from across town. I mean,
it's bad.
I'm certainly familiar with how rancid it can be, but that's just from the litter box. I feel sympathy to the folks who have cats that'll whiz all over the house.
I mean, we
all
get,
my
we
cats
get peed
are
on all the time at work.
Oh,
and
yeah.
It lingers with you.
You come home and everyone in the house goes, what the heck?
It's the worst. It smells like a Christmas tree.
One time I had a cat pee on my hockey gear.
Oh.
And that was bad.
Might have made it better.
Two of those smells mixed. Ooh.
Fat Moose Jesus said, do you have any tips for a high school junior interested in becoming a vet?
Oh, yeah, start early. They're starting to really recommend that a lot of vet students have a ton of experience. So try and get into a vet clinic. Start working, answering phones. Start from the bottom. Clean kennels. They also like if you have some research background, too. I worked in a lab that dissected fruit flies for a couple years. Whoa. So
really?
Sounds like delicate work.
Well, yeah, you gotta have a steady hand for that.
Wow.
So they want you to have a good background and experience as well as research.
It sounds like a tough gig.
Yeah.
Tough gig. Yeah. A text has come in about a golden retriever who was neutered. They're concerned about, the vet told them to keep the dog inactive for 10 to 14 days, but that's difficult to do. Golden retrievers like to have fun. Does that sound right to you, about 10 to 14 days? Okay.
Yep.
The reason I brought it up other than that was I'd never heard about this before. This listener says the dog does not wear a cone, but it wears a lick suit.
Yeah, those are new.
Oh,
yeah.
those are so cool.
Yeah,
Tell us about
awesome.
the lick suit.
They're called surgical suits. They're pretty awesome because they have holes for male dogs where they need to urinate,
Sure.
and then for females, and you zip them up, and it protects the area that they want to lick. I don't trust it alone if you're not home or sleeping, so I always recommend a cone with the surgical suit. They're pretty cute.
I'm
They're
so
fun.
mad I didn't know about
up.
these in advance for when my dog got her leg amputated, because that is so hard. That's such a big area to try to protect them from licking.
Yeah, and then you probably had a cone too, right?
Yep. Oh yeah, she would
poor
be
thing.
coned and muzzled at points because that girl, she could twist her body around to get to where she wanted to go.
Oh, hell yeah. Australian Shepherd, a 3-year-old Australian Shepherd this person has. They said, my dog ate an entire banana this morning, peel and all. Curious the doc's thought on if this will be a problem.
It could be a problem. I mean, it will digest eventually, but you might want to try and get that peel up so that hydrogen peroxide could come in handy, or otherwise call your vet and they can induce vomiting too.
Eat a whole damn banana.
Yeah.
She'll eat anything.
Oh, God.
Police car building Jesus said they have a cat, female, 13 years old, and the fur on her left back leg is falling out. Any thoughts on this?
Get him the lick suit.
Yeah.
Every dog in town should be wearing a lick suit.
Yeah, they're cute.
Yeah.
It could be a variety of things. It could be psychogenic, meaning in the head, more kind of an anxiety behavior. It could be allergies. It could be fleas. It could be anything from ectoparasites like mites or fungal like ringworm, which is uncommon to see lesions in cats. Typically, they're just carriers, but I would get it checked out.
Oh, yeah, people are texting in on this lick suit saying it works great.
Yeah, they're cute.
I kind of want to wear one.
Yeah, I'll get you in one.
I want to wear a man-sized lick suit.
I wonder if you can get like a little, it looks like a fake tuxedo or something like that.
Oh, they have fun patterns for sure.
Oh, do they?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Your dog's wearing a Twins jersey or whatever,
Oh, that'd
right?
be great.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, that'd be awesome.
Dr. Andrea, it's been an absolute pleasure as usual. Thank you very much for coming by. We'll talk to you in a couple weeks. Thanks, everyone, for texting. And we got to turn things in for the day, don't we, Cubby?
We do. And really appreciate your time. Thanks for making the jaunt over here.
The 93X Half-Assed Morning Show, Backtracks Edition.
There's a douchiness to them.
The 93X Half-Assed Morning Show.
Dana here for Standard Heating and Air Conditioning. We all know January is one of the coldest months of the year, and not that cheery, fun kind of Christmas cold. Nah, just the dark, dank January cold. Standard Heating and Air Conditioning is well aware of this, and that's why they're offering $40 off a furnace tune-up to keep you warm during the Minnesota cold. The last thing you want is to be huddled around an iffy space heater you bought from some shady targeted ad. Oh, and how about this? Standard Heating and Air Conditioning has now been helping Minnesotans for over 95 years. So book your appointment now at standardheating.com. That's standardheating.com.
This episode is brought to you by Progressive Insurance. Do you ever think about switching insurance companies to see if you could save some cash? Progressive makes it easy. Just drop in some details about yourself and see if you're eligible to save money when you bundle your home and auto policies. The process only takes minutes, and it could mean hundreds more in your pocket. Visit Progressive.com after this episode to see if you could save. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates. Potential savings will vary. Not available in all states.
Everyone knows that it's playoff time for football. But did you know football is a conspiracy to sell food? Mean Joe Green likes a certain brand of soda.
With a smile.
Troy Polamalu uses a certain kind of shampoo. That Justin Tucker is a trained opera singer. We can't guarantee that you'll learn all this by listening to the Jim Rowe Show podcast, but you will definitely be well informed on the latest takes on the playoffs, coach hirings, and the draft. Follow and listen on your favorite platform.
Half-assed Morning Show. 93X.
Ain't this something right here, Cubby? Just yesterday, we were talking about a gal with she's fully equipped with 2 vaginas. We discussed that yesterday. What a miracle she is. Here we are today, and now we get to learn together as a family about a guy with 3 penises.
Lucky
part
dude.
of our conversation about the double vag gal, we branched over to, well, are there a lot of double ween fellas running around town? And right here, we are presented with a man who has 3 penises. So the double vagina gal and the 3 penis guy, they should meet, but they won't. They won't. You want to know why? Because the tri-peen dude is dead.
Oh, no.
That's awful.
How dead? Because there's a window where maybe they could still work it out.
Yeah, you can sustain an erection even after he died. At least they learned that in the movie Clerks. I'm assuming Kevin Smith did his fact-checking on that.
Let me see how dead the man is. Well, we'll get there. Doctors in the United Kingdom made this announcement that they discovered the second ever recorded case of triphallia. And that's when a man has 3 units swing in. Well, not legitimately, not literally swinging. Because so much of this stuff happens up inside the body.
That's a bummer.
Yeah, I was slightly disappointed yesterday when we learned about the woman with 2 vaginas. I was expecting magical things, and I wanted to see all the pictures, but then we learned that one of her special purposes is up inside the body.
Because, I mean, as someone who has 1 penis, which is also mostly internal, I would be pretty disappointed if I had the opportunity of just having 3 underwhelming penises. I mean, imagine the fun you could have with groups of people. But, yeah, 2 are internal. That doesn't even count.
You could just get away with anything with 3 penises. You could manage anything.
Yep.
Doctors only found out about this, that the dude had a triple. They only found out after he died. He was 78 years old. Still, I don't think I have it in here when he checked out. But it was a happy accident. He donated his body to science. So I imagine, as morbid as it sounds, they were cutting him up and keeping the good parts, right? Mm-hmm. Donated his body to science, and that's when they discovered the triple wiener factor.
They better save that, too.
Well, there's not much to save. They said only one of them was normal, hanging down. The other 2, like I said, were internal. And a matter of fact, they said you couldn't actually see them. You know, so far deep inside, hiding somewheres in the guy's body, they kind of just stumbled upon him, tripped over him.
Oh, Steelers fan Jesus said when you have 3 penises, that's called a hat dick.
That's good.
Is that the medical term, Steelers fan Jesus?
That's absolutely awesome.
I'm jealous I didn't think of that.
All right, so one was there for everyone to see. The other 2 were internal. And the other 2 weren't functional. I guess I'd need some pictures and maybe a little more in-depth information to understand everything that I'm saying here. One was there where it normally should be. The other were internal, and they were not functional. So it's possible, they say, that dead 78-year-old guy never even knew he was blessed like this.
Yeah, I wonder if there were, too bad they can't ask him, but if there were any signs where, sure, you're not going to assume you have more than one and certainly 2 more hiding, but maybe there were signs that he had something that was a little different than the rest of them.
The signs, yeah. Something different had to have been going on with this guy's body, right?
Yeah.
Where he thought, what is that feeling in my stomach? What is that? Wherever, you know.
Maybe even like something would show up in an X-ray or something.
Yeah.
Internal
definitely.
boners?
Yeah.
All right, what else is there to know about this guy? Poor guy checked out.
78, that's pretty good. I think I'd be happy if I made it
Yeah,
to 78.
I'd be all right with that age, for sure.
All right, here we go, Josh. The doctors who discovered 2 extra dongs living inside this guy, they think it probably caused him trouble. They say he likely had, oh no, a lot of those UTIs.
Ooh,
those are
with his
painful,
one working hanging penis. They say he likely had to battle UTIs.
I had one, and that is awful.
Yep.
How loud did you scream when you discovered, because I'm guessing, I know I've heard this story before, but I think you discovered you had a UTI when you were urinating.
Yes, I actually recorded it. Yeah, that was it.
They say the guy probably likely had to battle UTIs until the day that he died. And they're also, oh, this isn't fair to say about it. Tell this to his face when he's alive, not after he passed away. They said he probably caught erectile dysfunction, too, along the way.
Oh. You're right. You don't need to make that part public.
No.
So they say it's possible none of his penises worked.
The irony.
Don't include that part in my eulogy, guys, about my ED. I'd prefer if you left that part out.
Oh, we're going to make it up even if it's not true.
Triphallia. 3 peckers. Even diphallia is rare, when you have 2, of course. There have only been, how do I say this? I'll get there. There have only been around 100 recorded cases worldwide.
Worldwide?
2 dongs, only been 100 of them. Triple dongski, they say it's only the 2nd recorded case. What a story.
And he has no idea.
Never had the opportunity. They say it's likely he never knew, so he never got to spin that story at the bar.
You know, plenty of times throughout history, legends weren't legends until after they passed away. They didn't know the impact they made on others, and he'll never know.
I almost got emotional while you were saying that.
Wherever,
that's beautifully stated.
If there's a heaven and he's there, I want to make sure and tell him, hey, dude, just so you know, you were talked about afterwards about. And by the way, did you know you had 3 penises? I would assume somebody would have told him when he got up there.
You're talking about when he enters the gates of heaven?
Yeah. Maybe on his way in, St. Peter says, bro, you're not going to believe this.
Yeah. Pull him aside. Pull him out of line. We got to talk to this guy real quick. I wonder how many of our male listeners are rolling on one nut.
I've got a friend who he had it removed. Were you talking about just more born that way, or?
Oh, either way.
Yeah.
Yeah, I have a friend that has only one, too.
Text us. What's our number again? Someone tell me the number.
Go ahead, Wobble.
651-989-9393.
What's pretty cool about my friend is that at the time he was in the Navy, so they actually had they didn't have a surgeon on board or something along those lines. So they had a helicopter fly in a robot that did his surgery to get one of his nuts removed.
Wow. Is that because doctors don't like touching genitalia?
Yeah, that's exactly why.
Did he catch cancer?
Is that what it was?
Yep, that's what it was.
That was the same with my friend.
Yep, guy I went to high school with. Text in 651-989-9393 if you're cooking on a one-wheel drive kind of a thing.
I'm not fat. I'm aerodynamic, Jesus said. Can you brag about your cumulative length if you have 3? Yes, I would add those together.
100%.
Cumulative length.
I think that's fair.
They didn't specify, so they're questioning.
Anyone in our audience have 3 of them?
Oh, somebody just texted in and said, I had a goalie I played hockey with that had 3 nuts. We called him Trinity.
3 nuts?
That's cool. That's
Trinity.
a cool nickname,
Seriously?
too.
That's a real thing?
I'd never heard of that.
That's a great
Trinity?
That's a great nickname.
Yeah.
That's sweet, yeah.
All right. To check my text messages because that's interesting to me. Uno, we called the guy in high school. I'm sure that it's not wildly original, I'm sure, but we called the guy Uno.
Yeah, so far there's not a lot of text coming in on people having 1 or 2 or 3.
God dang.
Gas Pipe says, is it weird that my right nut's bigger than the other 2? Okay, so there is somebody that has 3.
I don't know if I'm buying this 3. I got a text message here from a listener that says he fell out of a deer stand, ripped his bag open, lost one of his nuts. So, yeah, he's going on 1.
That's not fun.
On a rusty nail, he said.
Hepatitis then, too.
Fell out of it. Hepatitis?
I wouldn't worry about hepatitis.
Who the hell?
Are you thinking of like tetanus?
Oh, yeah, that's the one.
I was going to ask, who has that nail been with?
Either way, I'm guessing that dude would drink a bucket of hepatitis to avoid losing the 1 nut. I don't think he's too worried about that.
Farmington Dad Jesus said he has 3.
I'm fascinated. Okay,
I'm
we're gonna have
testicles.
We're gonna have to start taking your word for this. 3 of them. Get back to us. What special tricks can you do that we doubles or singles cannot achieve? 651-989-9393. You 3 nut fellas.
Hillman Welder Jesus said he had a buddy who lost a nut playing the nut tap game. Playing a little sack tap.
Yep, that's why you don't play that stupid
You got
game.
hit that hard?
Ouch.
There is an urban legend that our gym teachers passed around, I think, just to get us to stop whipping towels at people about somebody losing their nuts in the shower with the towel snap game.
We got that story, too.
Yeah.
I mean, I believe it
I
because
could believe that
a guy that I grew up with had one of his nuts give way on him, and they had to cut it off of him because a gal kneed him there.
Ooh.
She was angry, and she kneed him in the balls, just like you see in the movies. It was just brutal. That evening, he woke up, and one of his nuts was the size of your mother's ass, and it had turned jet black.
Oh, no.
And they had to cut it off of him. There was another dude I played beer league softball with that took a softball to his bag. Same thing. The sumbitch blew up to the size of your skull, and they had to cut that off for him.
So painful.
But there was something said before that, and I lost it. But anyway.
That towel snapping, that's kind of like an art. Some people are really, really good at it.
I
you really
suck at
snap it, too.
I'm
Can't
pretty
do
good
that
at
whatsoever.
it. I'll take out a nut if I have to. Disc Golf Jesus said he has 3 nipples and a double barrel shotgun, a.k.a. 2 pee holes.
Oh, wow.
So many interesting people in our listening audience. All right. To completely change gears, keep sending in your texts if you have a special situation like we've been discussing. 651. What's going on, Josh?
The Jesus formerly known as stay-at-home dad Jesus said when you have 3 penises, they call that threeners. I'm easy to please.
Yes, you are.
Yeah, you are.
I love it.
You've heard this said out loud before. This became a trendy something or another to say a few years ago. The hills that we're willing to die on. You know what that means?
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
The arguments that we're ready or prepared to.
There's very few things I care to argue about. I figure, hey, go ahead. If somebody thinks that, that's fine.
Yeah, you're the type of guy that'll back down a little easier than others?
Yeah, it's not even really backing down. It's just that's like, okay, I mean, I feel differently. There's no point. And nowadays, you know how it is, like, used to be able to have a discussion, But now you'll be mortal enemies if you don't agree on something. You used to be able to not agree, and it wasn't a big deal. So I just figure, hey, you go ahead. I don't need the win. You take it.
Yeah, why waste your energy?
Oh, I'm the type of guy, I never, ever like to lose an argument, and I'll go far beyond a reasonable person's, I'll go far beyond reason in an argument. So again, hills we're willing to die on, otherwise known as arguments where you're willing to go all the way to the point where you come off like a crazy person. And this particular report is on the smallest hills we're willing to die on. I'll be totally honest with you. There's very little interesting about this entire report. Most of it sucks. You've heard it all a million times. But there was one that I circled that I thought it grabbed my attention. So this is a hill that some are willing to die on. Nobody should ever blow their nose in public.
Really?
Yeah, that grosses me out.
Well, and it never really entered my mind before until this morning when I read it, and I thought, you know what? Maybe I'm on that side. Maybe I agree with that. Why is it, what's the word I'm looking for, a commonplace for people to openly spray mucus into a rag in front of everybody?
Well, I usually try and be discreet to be...
Yeah, but still, you're blowing mucus into a rag.
Well, sometimes you're in a situation, what are you going to do?
Go to the bathroom.
What if you can't? What if you can't?
Well, then you just deal with it until you can.
When I was in school, that was like required. If you had to get up to blow your nose to step out into the hallway, don't do it in front of people. 'Cause that's
Really?
nasty.
Really?
Yeah.
I'd rather be in front of somebody that blows their nose once for a few seconds than somebody who's just doing the, snip, trying to hold it back in, suck up the snot.
Or you see the snot come down their nose all
kids.
the time.
Well, yeah, but you can take care of that. You can take care of that without blowing your nose. You can take a tissue and just kind of dab yourself. You don't have to go and the whole spraying of every. This could be the liquor talking, because I've never, ever had this thought in my head until I read that. Nobody should ever blow their nose in public, and I'm starting to go in that direction.
Well, you stick like toilet paper up your nose and stuff.
Yeah, I know. I'm not saying I'm not guilty of these things. It's just suddenly this has occurred to me that maybe it is wrong for folks to do that. Go into the bathroom. Wait till there's an opportunity where you're alone. Yeah, I know. I'm guilty too. Although I'm not a nose blower, you guys know that because I don't have the skill set for it. But yes, I will jam toilet paper. I don't know.
Now that I think about it, every time somebody does do that in front of me, I'm like, ugh, can't you do that somewhere else?
Yeah, it happened to me the other night. I was sitting at the bar, and some dude next to me just kept blowing his nose over and over and over again. It took like 5-6 times for me to really notice in the first place. And I thought, get out of here.
Yeah, I certainly would walk away, but I wouldn't be upset with somebody. Like Dana said, it's kind of worse when there's other things going on. And you can hear it's going in a direction it shouldn't go.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
And they're swallowing snot.
Oh. I just thought I'd fire it your way. It's something that I am at least briefly passionate about. I'm guessing I'll forget about it within 2-3 minutes, but at least briefly.
Well, there's little things that set you off.
I wanted to question the norm is what I was doing there, Josh. Questioning thought-provoking stuff.
Oh, yeah, really. I agree.
Can you think of anything else that is commonplace for people to do in public that maybe you think is better off behind a closed door?
Well, okay, it's not like I think about this very often. I'm not into PDA. I mean, that's public displays of affection, if you're not familiar.
Oh, you just wait till tonight, Josh.
Not publicly. If you want to pull me aside into a janitor's closet or something, I'll go for it with you. You want to play 7 Minutes of Heaven or whatever it's called, Dana? I'm in.
All right, cool.
Yeah, I'm just never really, even with my wife sometimes, she's like, well, what the hell? Well, you're not, I'm just not really comfortable with it.
Yeah, my boyfriend's like that, and it will momentarily piss me off. I mean, the other day we were in a corn maze, and there was people near us, and we finished the corn maze, so I went in for a kiss, and he kind of dodged me.
Really? Because it is tradition to kiss after you successfully complete a corn maze.
Yeah,
well, here's the thing, though.
That goes back 150 years.
Yeah, he said, sorry, I don't like kissing in front of people, and I'm like, well, okay.
But a kiss is one thing.
Exactly.
Public displays, full-on making out, totally different story.
I was like, come on, dude, give me something.
That really should be, against the law once you're clear of junior high. Like the full-on making out in public, I think once you get beyond junior high, it's time to bring that behind friggin' closed doors. Because in a lot of cases, it's friggin' disgusting.
I don't even want to see kids in junior high doing that.
Yeah, no, definitely not.
I feel like that's worse.
Have you guys ever been at the bar before and there's that couple across the bar just deep into each other,
I've
seen out,
I've been that guy twice in my life, and I still feel miserable.
You don't see it often. You don't see it often. Oh, I've been that guy, too, when I was younger.
Yeah, I was early 20s.
It's acceptable, I think. Wappel said, I don't even think you want to. Well, I don't want to see it either. I'm saying it should only be acceptable up until you get out. And once you get out of junior high, it should be. That's not a bad one, Josh. That's not bad at all.
College roommate and I, we made a joint New Year's resolution one year to stop making out at bars. Not with each other, with randoms.
You guys still made out with each other?
Yeah, we were fine making out with each other, but we had to stop with the randoms.
It can be just gross.
Firefighter Jesus said his wife hates PDA so much, she won't even do it at home.
Oh, no. The Half-Assed Morning Show backtracks.
Josh, go ahead. What's your favorite game show?
I don't really watch them anymore. For a long time.
I mean, it could be from way back. Could be from. It doesn't have to be.
Okay, of all time, The Price is Right. Bob Barker's version of The Price is Right.
Price is Right.
After he left, I haven't watched it.
You watched that because of the hot mamas.
Yeah.
There were some babes.
And that was something that, I have fond memories because, like in the summers, we'd watch that with in the commune I grew up in, my grandma was there, the matriarch.
Barker was a pimp, too.
Oh, yeah, total stud. We'd watch that. And I thought, you know what, if I ever have a pet, I'm going to make sure it's spaded or neutered, just like he tells us at the end of every show.
When your grandmothers would watch Bob Barker with you on television, did they squirm in their seats a little bit?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, so did I. I mean, and the games like Plinko and the yodeling guy.
Oh, the
those
yodel
were so
dude.
much fun.
Oh, I never was a big Price is Right guy, and I know nothing of today's game shows. But going back to when I was a kid, Tic-Tac-Doe was easy enough for me, and Wink Martindale was enjoyable to watch on television.
All those the hosts were so good.
Yeah, I'm trying to think of some others from the
Wheel of
70s
Fortune.
and 80s. Wheel of Fortune.
Yeah,
I used to like that.
Never
when I was
got
younger.
into it.
It was okay.
Never got into it.
Family Feud's always good.
Family Feud back in the day with Richard Dawson was, sure, that was wildly popular. And I know
That's the one I was going to say is most recently. It's been a few years, but we used to watch Family Feud every night.
Boy, there's got to be one or another, too, that I'm just forgetting.
Do you guys ever like Lingo?
Oh, I watched Lingo back in the day.
Never saw it.
I'm not even sure I know what that is.
I was a fan of Lingo.
Okay,
Never, ever.
I watched a little bit of the one where you have some suitcases and then you got to
Deal or No Deal?
Yeah, Deal or No Deal.
Oh, that was fun. I loved watching that.
They have that in arcades now, so they hook kids trying to get tickets on that.
Yeah, and I always play it. I love that game in the arcades.
Says here, watching game shows is good for your brain.
I can see that. Kind of gets the juices flowing a little bit.
The Jeopardy, for example, that one, it's like kind of fun. But I can't say I know any of the answers.
Never
so
cared
dumb.
for it.
No.
Never cared for Jeopardy at all.
Feel
Are
so
you smarter
stupid
than a
watching
fifth
it.
grader?
Same thing.
Are you smarter
I've
than a...
learned I am not smarter than a fifth grader.
I forgot about that one.
I used to have that as I think it was a game for my Nintendo DS. I can't remember what console it was, but I played the heck out of that.
I like the
about
Newlywed Game. I loved that game.
Oh, yeah, that could be fun. The $10,000 Pyramid
Watched
just
a
crossed
little
my
of that.
mind.
Yeah, that was fun.
Dick Clark, I think, hosted that, didn't he? Was that Dick Clark?
I'm not sure. What about Hollywood Squares? I watched the heck out of that.
I never cared for that one either.
Oh, really?
Yeah, even though as much as I loved What's-His-Nuts, who was so funny
The guy
there,
in the middle?
Paul Lind.
He was hilarious. I was pretty disappointed, though, and I was a kid. I didn't know any better. But I'm like, how are these guys so quick? And not realizing that, it's all set up.
Yeah,
it
it's
sucks.
scripted.
Here's the one that I forgot, the match game.
Yes, that was just about to bring that up. Especially the ones in the 70s, I still catch those reruns on Game Show Network anytime I can.
All of the celebrity guests were drunk. Mm-hmm. They spent all afternoon drinking, and then they turned the cameras on, and it was a riot, the match game. If you're too young, check it out. It's like Dana said, especially the ones from the 70s with...
Gene Rayburn?
Well, sure, but I was trying to come up with the celebrities who were regulars there. What the hell
Lou
is this?
Diamond Phillips, Dan Housen.
That's pretty much it.
What about Who Wants to Be a Millionaire? I watched that. I love Regis.
Never saw it.
Yeah, that was pretty good.
After Regis, I didn't watch.
I liked when Katie Couric, I don't know how to pronounce her name, but I liked when she took over too.
So watching game shows is good for your brains. It'll help boost your problem-solving skills, improve your memory, strengthen your mind.
Yeah, my wife is good at all those, especially Family Feud. And I've told this before, but there's times I'm looking at her like, you are the dumbest person on the planet. If you think anybody said ding, like, how did somebody say that? She can, I don't know if it's, she's a sociologist, a psychologist, I don't know what's going on, but she'll come up with these ridiculous answers that happened. That's the number one answer. Like, how did that happen? It just seems so stupid.
Your wife would be so good at stealing when you have to just get the one answer right. No, why would you say that? That is not a good answer. All right, good answer, good answer.
I'm telling you, if you ever win or decide to go on a game show, put her on your team. It's almost frustrating how she gets, because there's so many times that I thought, well, I married a moron. And then all of a sudden, ding.
Yeah, you've mentioned before, I think, that if your old lady put together a team for Family Feud, you think that they'd whoop ass.
Yeah, and Uno.
Because of the strength of your wife's game show skills.
She dominates that in cards. Like, we played Uno a couple weeks back. There was one time where she had to draw 27 cards. 27, because I think she shuffled poorly, but she got herself. 27 cards, she came back and won.
She got herself out of it?
And then when she was at the cabin, I forgot the game they were playing. There was some game they were playing, and her and my stepson, she was down by like 200 points, she was saying, and she came back and won.
When I was a young kid, second grade, I think, a gal in my school, one of my classmates, her family appeared on Family Feud, and this was in the 70s. This was when Richard Dawson was hosting the show, and it was off the charts popular.
Gosh, what a time to be on that show.
Oh, yeah. When I found out that my classmate's family was going to be on Family Feud, I was just convinced that they were the Osmonds. You know what I mean? I was convinced that they were the
especially back then.
They were the most important family in all of America. And then being a stupid little kid, when the day comes where, don't miss it, Thursday's the day that my family's going to be on Family Feud, I was completely thrown by the fact that my classmate wasn't part of the show. You know what I mean? Wasn't on the panel. It didn't dawn on me that she's a friggin' second grader. And, I thought for sure I was going to see her. This is Mom, Dad, Uncle Donnie, Aunt Missy, and here's me. I don't know. I assumed a second grader would be put on the show, but obviously she was not.
Real Dirt Nasty Jesus said, what about American Gladiators? Would you consider that a game show?
No.
I guess I don't know.
That wasn't a game show.
I watched that. What about Double Dare?
Oh,
Never
I loved
saw
Double
it.
Dare back in the day.
Cool.
Yeah, that was cool.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
A lot of fun on
one of my
Nickelodeon.
neighbors had cable, and that's something we'd watch over there.
So here you go. It's good for your brains, including, like I already mentioned, your problem-solving skills, but also good for your mental health. It lends a bit of comfort as well, emotionally. Game shows are good for you. And I totally understand everything that they're saying here. I watch a lot of old television shows. The other day I was watching MASH, and I watch Different Strokes, and I watch Cheers, and I watch all 70s and 80s stuff. I don't give two pumps about what's going on these days. My wife, friggin' wife that I have now for almost a year. Have you met her, Josh?
Your wife?
Yeah.
We cover this quite often. I've known her for decades. Decades.
So she has this theory about me as to why I only watch old television shows. Because it gives me comfort in knowing how it ends. She pretends to be this amateur psychologist character now and again. And I often tell her, well, I remember this program, but I don't remember how it ends. But she thinks that there's something behind why I watch all these old shows. Something about knowing how it ends comforting to me.
That makes sense.
I would think it's just the nostalgia.
Yeah,
for me,
that's all it is.
Yeah, I mean, sometimes I'll watch shows and go, "Wow, this was really terrible," but it reminds me of my childhood or brings back some good memories.
I mean, yeah. So she tries to play those little games with me and figure me out. Now, I mean, of course, yes, I do remember this old episode of the Cosby Show where Theo has bad grades, but I don't remember how it ends.
By the way,
I remember that Theo was in trouble with Cliff, but I don't remember how it ends.
Theo just showed up on a new show my wife and I are trying. By just showed up, the episode probably aired 5-6 years ago. But yeah, there's Malcolm Jamal Warner right there. And he's a dick.
Oh!
Yeah, you're not used to seeing that.
So there you go. A lot of people are texting in their favorite game shows and this and that. Man, there have been a lot over the years.
I'm not fat, I'm aerodynamic. Jesus said, I love that old game show called Cops. Yeah, that's not a game show.
That's an F around and find out show.
Yeah, there's a lot of people who lose that game by their own accord.
Oh, man. Fear Factor, Love Connection.
A lot of people are texting in Press Your Luck. I've never seen that, and I don't know.
Never saw it.
Never heard of it.
What is Press Your Luck?
Isn't that the old
Big money, no whammies.
Yeah, the old whammy game.
I'm sorry, I still don't know.
Oh, dude,
it's a big red board, and you hit the button to stop, and you hope it's on big bucks and not a whammy.
If
I've
it's
heard
a whammy,
the punchline.
they drop like pizza dough or something stupid on your head.
Yep, they always have that on at bars.
Oh, really?
I've heard the punchline "no whammy" for decades, and I never picked up on it.
And there's a documentary about a guy in the 70s, I believe, who memorized the patterns of the board and basically just broke the game. He went on there and won a couple $1 million because he recognized the patterns of how it flashed and when to hit the button.
That's badass. I like when people do that.
By recording the show and rewatching it over and over again to see how the board changed and the different patterns it would go on.
The way you've described that, it's different, but it kind of reminds me of another game I really liked on The Price is Right. The one where you'd punch through.
Oh, yeah.
And then you'd see what's on the inside,
Yeah.
I thought that was pretty cool.
Wasn't there someone that found out all the prices on The Price is Right, too? So they were just winning everything?
It's another documentary called The Perfect Bid. The guy taped every episode, and because they reuse the same prizes. So he would know how much that dishwasher cost, how much... everything that costs, and he got a perfect bid. And they thought originally they thought that there must have been some type of insider knowledge. A producer on the show leaked him what the number was, but no, the dude just memorized everything.
I saw a little bit of that. Yeah, it's a hell of a deal. They put on some good shows, and they still do, I'm sure. I'm just not tuned into it, but a lot of backstage drinking and cocaine.
Yeah, I mean, those were wild. I mean, a lot of that stuff wouldn't fly today. Richard Dawson's like, hold on, I'm going to make out with your wife.
I know.
Quick. Now I'm going to make out with your daughter, your mother. I'm making out with everybody.
If you willingly brought your family on the Family Feud in the Richard Dawson era, there's a good chance that he might be your new stepdad.
And there were old episodes of the Family Feud with Richard Dawson where it was absolutely obvious that he got to the set 5 minutes before showtime. And he is so sunstroked in a lot of those. I mean, you can tell. They rolled him off of a beach and put a suit on him. And it saw that his blood alcohol content was about 0.23 and said, action. I mean, he is so brutally sunbeaten from just laying on a beach all day long with 20-year-olds. What a life the man led.
A buddy of mine, he went on vacation. He just came back. I saw him yesterday, and he was so tan. The first words out of my mouth were, "What the hell?"
Did you pass out?
Yeah. I'm like, I didn't know a white guy could do that. My God, he was just so tan.
Beautiful. He looked beautiful?
Oh yeah, glowing. He could be in a commercial. They'd have to do a lot of photoshopping to his face structure and stuff like that, but outside of that, he could be in a commercial.
Well, yeah, some lucky bastards can turn out that way. All right, Randy Shaver and Brad Ryder are going to join us in about an hour and a half. We get another opportunity for someone to jump on our Rock the River cruise. Be listening for that. Oh, damn. Other than that, we're just going to lay on the beach and drink.
Get as tan as possible.
And wait for someone to say, showtime. What else is going on, Josh? Am I missing anything?
I think that's everything, right?
It better be. Squid Games? What the hell is that?
A Netflix show.
I don't want to know.
Oh, I know you've heard of it. It was absolutely gigantic when that first came out.
Few people texted in Squid Games.
And there is a Squid Game now.
Yeah.
There are. I don't know. Do they do that here or is that overseas? I can't remember. But
I don't know where it is, but I remember I watched it, and I was actually kind of intrigued by it. There's so many backstabbers in that game. It was so cool.
I watched like part of the first episode where some dude gets his ass kicked at a urinal, and after that I stopped.
Yeah.
Kind of by Dana's advice. Dana's like, this isn't your show.
It was a little too dark for you, I think, Josh. You're too wholesome for something like that.
I don't need that darkness in my life. No, I'll stay away from those types of shows.
It rings a bell. I remember you guys talking about it. You can fill me in off there. I really liked Name That Tune when I was a kid. And isn't there a modern version of that?
Yeah, Shazam.
It's called Shazam.
Yeah,
it's called Beat Shazam.
Yeah. Wait, which is the one with Jimmy Fallon? Is that the one? Because he does that one where like people sing karaoke or whatever.
Oh, that must be a different one.
That's a different one. Beat Shazam it's like Name That Tune. Like you have to get it within like a couple seconds.
Are you saying beat or beach?
Beat Shazam.
Yeah, at first it sounded like beat, and then it sounded like beach. So is it the same as you I can do this in 2 notes. I can do this in 3 notes, or how do they do it?
They start playing a song, and then you kind of hit the button, and then say what you think it is.
Oh, okay.
Try to beat
so
the
it's
other
like head
team.
to head.
Yeah.
If it's Kiss, I'll win.
Yeah, you were amazing at that.
If it's
and by the way, the one you missed, you gave it to the other guy.
I did.
I saw it happen. You kind of even looked at me like, should I give it to him? And you gave it to him.
You know what happened, Cubby? I took a dive.
You did.
Yep.
That's nice of you.
You missed one, and I swear to God, on my kids, I saw you kind of gave me a, should I just let him have one? And you let him have one.
Years ago, we played Kiss, Name That Tune, and I eviscerated my opponent. Johnny, take a dive. What movie, Johnny Dangerously, what year, 1984?
Haven't seen that one.
What the hell's the matter with you?
The 93X Half-Assed Morning Show, Backtracks Edition.
There's a douchiness to them.
The 93X Half-Assed Morning Show.
Dana here for Standard Heating and Air Conditioning. We all know January is one of the coldest months of the year, and not that cheery, fun kind of Christmas cold. Nah, just the dark, dank January cold. Standard Heating and Air Conditioning is well aware of this, and that's why they're offering $40 off a furnace tune-up to keep you warm during the Minnesota cold. The last thing you want is to be huddled around an iffy space heater you bought from some shady targeted ad. Oh, and how about this? Standard Heating and Air Conditioning has now been helping Minnesotans for over 95 years. So book your appointment now at standardheating.com. That's standardheating.com.
This episode is brought to you by Progressive Insurance. Do you ever think about switching insurance companies to see if you could save some cash? Progressive makes it easy. Just drop in some details about yourself and see if you're eligible to save money when you bundle your home and auto policies. The process only takes minutes, and it could mean hundreds more in your pocket. Visit Progressive.com after this episode to see if you could save. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates. Potential savings will vary. Not available in all states.
Everyone knows that it's playoff time for football. But did you know football is a conspiracy to sell food? Mean Joe Green likes a certain brand of soda.
With a smile.
Troy Polamalu uses a certain kind of shampoo. That Justin Tucker is a trained opera singer. We can't guarantee that you'll learn all this by listening to the Jim Rowe Show podcast, but you will definitely be well informed on the latest takes on the playoffs, coach hirings, and the draft. Follow and listen on your favorite platform.
Half-Assed Morning Show. 93X.
C. Willie Miles is here along with Randy Shaver. Hello, gentlemen.
Good morning.
Good morning. Appreciate you coming on, C. Willie, on short notice. I know yesterday we got a hold of you. Brad Ryder, unavailable today. We had something special planned for Brad. He's unavailable today. So you were our backup, C. Willie Miles.
Hey, man, that's what I'm there. Put me in, Coach.
How you doing? How you doing, Randy Shaver?
Good.
Good. We were talking earlier. Big deal tonight, Randy Shaver. Golden Gopher football's first game of the regular season.
Yep.
Playing North Carolina. All right.
They are an underdog.
They're an underdog at home in Game 1 against North Carolina.
And the over-under for wins for the season I keep seeing is 5.5, which seems low, but when you consider the new schedule and how difficult it will be once they get past the cupcakes, not tonight, but a couple of cupcakes in the preseason, 5.5 number may be right on. It could be a tough year for the Gophers.
Okay. Yeah, the new schedule. There's how many new teams in the Big Ten now as we stand today?
Well, I think they added 4, did they not, from the Pac-10? They
UCLA, USC, Washington, and Oregon?
Yep, I think they added 4.
Good Lord. And
so
how many of those clubs do they play this season? They play
I think they play UCLA out there in the Coliseum.
Mm-hmm. Right after USC.
Right after USC, yeah.
My goodness. It's a whole different world.
It is.
Starting tonight.
Look around college football. It is an entirely different world. It's not even close.
It's not the old days anymore. The Big Ten has 14 teams. Is that the correct number? Maybe more than that.
Yeah, I mean,
some in California. There's one in Maryland. There's one in. It's bizarre to me.
I was looking at the Atlantic Coast Conference, which is the old ACC, and it has expanded because of all of this movement. The University of California is in the ACC. That's how crazy it is. I mean, they're on the same schedule as Duke and Clemson.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, teams have just been scrambling trying to find places to play, regardless of travel, just because of all the shift in college football.
All right, so I think it's a 7 o'clock game tonight on Fox Sports, University of Golden Gopher football. Get some is the slogan. Their very first game of the season against University of North Carolina. And not that I'm not a Golden Gopher football fan, because I am. I'm not an NFL guy much anymore, but I still do love to watch Golden Gopher football. Not that I, want to disparage that club at all, but that right there, what we just discussed, time filler. That's what it was. That's what it was. Because I was waiting for a phone call to come in here to the friggin' program. And this is why we brought C. Willie Miles in.
Hello.
This is why we brought C. Willie in. I hope that both of you are ready, because we're gonna try to dive right into Who Dis. C. Willie Miles, you haven't played Who Dis yet, have you?
Just at home in Alabama. we didn't say who this. We like, who is you?
Who is you?
Right.
That's how you said it growing up.
Back when you kid. Who is you?
Okay. Who dis is how we say it, and this is how we operate with Who Dis. Right now on the telephone line waiting is a big-time somebody, an all-timer. And the way we play Who Dis goes this way. Randy Shaver and C. Willie Miles are the only two here in studio, Randy at home on the telephone, that do not know who Dis is on the telephone line. They'll try and find out as quick as they can through yes or no questions for our special guest. And our special guest will only answer with yes or no. Hopefully before too long, Randy and C. Willie will be able to figure out who this is. Okay? Fair enough, C. Willie and Randy?
Sure. That's it. Yeah, it works for me.
Let's pull up our guest on the telephone line and just have them simply say hello. Hello, special guest.
Hello.
Good morning.
Randy Shaver, would you like to do the honors and start off with the very first yes or no question for our guest?
Are you a current or former Minnesota Gopher football player? No.
Not a former Golden Gopher. No, he says, C. Willie Miles. Randy, as I said, that was just time filler. There's no real connection. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah, it could be.
Well, in the past, we've always had connections to what was going on.
Right. Yeah, no, good question. Certainly a good question. C. Willie, what's your yes or no question for our special guest?
Are you an actor or comedian?
No. Not an actor or a comic. You're thinking of yourself, C. Willie.
Yeah, that's you.
Let's narrow my choices there.
It would be effed up if the answer to who dis was you. That would be
to myself.
He's holding the phone up to his ear.
That'd be a mind F right there. Okay, not an actor or a comedian. Randy Shaver, it's your turn.
Are you a former Minnesota Viking football player? Yes.
The answer is yes.
Narrowing it down here.
Oh, man. Yeah, Randy Shaver, good one. C. Willie Miles.
Did you play defense?
Yes.
You guys.
This is John Randall.
Son of a...
Hey, correct. There you go.
Randy, I can't believe I set you up like that.
Yeah, you narrowed it down big time.
I did. That was my first
I'll tell
guess.
you what, I've talked to John enough. I recognize the voice was so familiar, and after the second one, I knew it was. I could tell it was John. So yeah,
we figured maybe it would be a quick process of who dis this morning because of Randy Shaver's familiarity with John Randall, all-time NFL great, calling our damn telephone line right now. This is an absolute thrill. Thank you, John Randall, for joining us and playing along this morning.
you're welcome.
Man, oh man, the memories that I have of you decimating the opposition's quarterback back in the day. You brought us a lot of excitement here, especially when you'd plant that Favre dude into the turf. Those were great times, John Randall.
Best of times.
Thank you.
So thank you for joining us again. You know, my first question for John Randall would be, you know, you were an energy guy. At least that's how the announcers always like to describe you on the football field. He's an energy guy. He's got a motor. At 56 years old, John Randall, can you still get that motor humming now and again?
Every day on the golf course.
I was just going to say. What time is your tee time today?
So golf is where that energy goes now.
Oh yeah. Yes, I pushed my tee time back to do this morning.
I feel you.
Very nice.
Thank you.
Me too.
You guys golfing together?
No.
And I'll tell you another thing. This is why he's doing this on Thursday, because Fridays are Purple Fridays for John Randall. And if you follow him on X, every Friday John posts a picture. I don't know if it's a current picture or if he's got a whole stash of them, but he's always got purple on in some way, and you always find him at a golf course with a cigar.
Absolutely.
That is like John's signature picture on Fridays. I follow John. I laugh every time when I see his picture pop up on Purple Fridays with John Randall. So very funny. Thank you.
That's very cool. I'm not a social media guy, so I don't follow such things. But so you're still a passionate Viking fan.
Yes, I am.
Watch them every Sunday. I'm sure you probably sit there and have ideas of how the defense could be better. That kind of a thing. You critique what the fellas are doing out there.
Yes, I do. But you know what? I think they're in good hands. And KOC, as the head coach, I think they're headed in the right direction.
That's good to hear. That's good to hear. I mean, if you don't mind me picking out one particular moment from your career, and I don't expect you to remember this, but it's a story that I tell often on this program. Speaking of the energy that you had on the field, the motor that you had, and everyone knows you were one of the greatest trash talkers of all time, right? So the Vikings were playing at home against Green Bay. Brett Favre has to leave the game, and he's replaced by T.J. Rubley. Do you have memories specifically of this, John Randall?
No, I do not.
Okay. This was late 90s, 97, 98, something like that. Okay. So the fact that Favre has left the game, the crowd is losing their minds. They were so happy to see Favre get off the field. I don't remember if that's because he was specifically killing you guys that day or not. I think it was a competitive game. And here comes this backup quarterback named T.J. Rubley. And I always tell this story, and I'm not making it up. You were screaming across the line of scrimmage with so much ferocity at this TJ Rubley that I could hear. I was at the game. I could hear your voice above 55,000 people.
Oh, my God.
It was just simply incredible. I mean, you must have come near to exhausting yourself sometimes when torturing other players with the trash talk.
I did sometimes, but I felt as if I was representing the Minnesota Vikings, I wanted to give 110% every time I played because I owed it to the fans who paid their hard-earned money to come watch us. So I intended on giving them everything that I had that day.
That was unbelievable.
John used to spend, and maybe you can explain a little bit more, how much time did you spend studying your opponent just to give some grief to a lineman or a quarterback across? Because you created this image of yourself of being such a disruptor on the field, but also you ran your mouth a lot to get into their heads. So how much time did you spend, like, studying up on who you were going to face on a Sunday?
I spent too much time because I knew too much about my opponents. So I probably spent too much time. I mean, I studied a lot of. I knew their wives' names, kids' names. I knew where they lived, some of their habits, and I would find the right moment to bring it up to make them feel uncomfortable. And for me, it was very helpful, and I didn't mind it. I'm trying to win. I'm trying to help my team win. So to do this, I thought it was a cool thing to do, and some guys just didn't really appreciate it.
Even wives and children's names were used.
The addresses, I mean, that's what we call that getting in their kitchen.
Oh yeah. That's why they say it was rated R. Football is rated R. So, hey.
True story.
Think how impressive that is, though. There wasn't like Wikipedia or social media. Anybody could do that now.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, I just can't imagine. I can't imagine lining up under center and John Randall says to me, how's Louise doing? How the hell do you know who Louise is?
Heard your kid failed algebra.
Yeah.
So, John, I imagine that you got a little bit of help. Did, like, Bob Hagan or some of his guys give you the media guide from the other team?
Exactly.
And you would take the media guide and go through the media guide and read about the players you were going to face. Is that how you did that?
Yes. Bob would give me the media guide. I would get the press clippings and stay at home and read up about my opponents, and just find out information about them. And, when you all of a sudden there'd be some newspaper that would tell you where a guy's wife or kids or family was sitting at, and you bring that up to a guy and you point over at that section, man, it really threw them off to where they was confused, and it was. I was a pretty good actor at the time, so I was acting, and I'm like, yes, I know her. She's one of my closest friends. Oh, she's over in section 102. Oh, yeah.
You're welcome.
We got John Randall on the line here with the Half-Assed Morning Show as part of an edition of Who Dis. John Randall, all-time NFL great, all-time Viking great. John Randall's stories are legendary, and we're finding out, now why. Here's one that I always heard, John, and tell me if it's true or not. When you are one of the ultimate underdog stories. I'm sure you know that. And considering what you came from and being what NFL people would call undersized and all that, what you accomplished was truly unbelievable. When you first entered the league, the idea was that you were too small, you weren't heavy enough. Is it true that maybe when you were first trying to make your way onto the Vikings roster, that when they weighed you, you put a series of weights in your boxer shorts or something to make you heavier so the coaches would take you more seriously?
No, it was one of those chains. So my roommate and I, we were rookies, and back when we had when I think it was Bloomington or Eden Prairie was called Southtown Mall or something.
Okay, that Bloomington maybe? Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, I think it was in Bloomington.
Okay.
So we had some time to kill, so we went into a hardware store and was just looking around, and the guy was showing us all different items, and he showed us this chain, and I'm like, how much that thing weighs? And he goes, it weighs about 10 pounds. So my roommate, William Kursky, and I was sitting there looking at it, and I'm like, hey, William, we take this chain. I took a padlock, put it on there, and put it underneath my sweats. Man, that'll give me like 10 pounds. And he was like, let's try it. So two country boys got nothing to lose, and I put it underneath my sweats and hopped on the scale. I was 240. It gave me about 10 pounds, put me at about 250. And it was one of the ways that the defensive coordinator, Floyd Peters, had told me if I wasn't around 250, I wasn't going to be allowed on the team. And so I came back, and I had my 250, and that's how I got my chance to play in the National Football League.
That's hilarious.
Wow. That's awesome.
Absolutely hilarious.
Well, you know you country when you ain't got nothing to do, so you're hanging out in a hardware store. hey, John, seriously. I mean, I'm from Alabama, man. I did the same thing up in St. Cloud. Hang out in a hardware. When you country, that's what you know. Shovels and,
pitchforks and things. Yeah.
Man, that is a nice wrench. They got good stuff up here.
That's a riot.
Say you country without saying you country.
Mm-hmm. Hanging out front of a hardware store. Oh, man. So you push back your tee time. That means a lot to us, John Randall. I did not know you were a passionate golfer. You've golfed at Randy Shaver's charity events, have you not, John?
Yes, I have. I actually, my way of giving back, because I'm a kind of a consultant for the NFL, and one of the things I do is giving back to the players is attending golf tournaments for these guys who have worthy causes and that the league can't be a part of, but I can is play in their tournaments to show our appreciation for these guys, for their years of service, their blood, sweat, and tears. And on behalf of the NFL Legends community, I go out and I show my golf skills a little bit and just show my face and just show our appreciation to the guys.
That's great. One of the most amazing things that Josh and I ever saw in person was watching one of your former Viking teammates, Randall McDaniel, drive a golf ball.
Oh, my God. I don't think that ended yet.
I believe, Josh and I both believe that it entered the atmosphere somehow, and right now it's circling Jupiter. It was,
it's in a separate dimension somewhere.
Are you a big hitter, John Randall?
I can be.
Yes.
But I like to focus on the little things. The chipping and putting, to me, is so essential to golf because if you can chip and putt, you can make up for you can lower your score by doing that better. It goes back to this golf book called The Little Red Book by Harvey Pennant, and which he focuses on chipping and putting because regardless of what golf course you play, not every hole is a par 5 or a par 4. You are going to use you're going to chip and you're going to putt. So that's what I focus in on.
So you've seen Randy Shaver's golf game. If you could use one word to describe that, what would it be?
You don't have to answer.
It's interesting.
The word is interesting.
Now that's very Minnesotan.
Interesting. It is.
Yeah,
Oh, man.
I bet it is.
It's different.
It's different. Haven't seen that done before.
Oh, man.
Well, John, we're such fans. We're very proud of you. Watching you play for the Vikes was some of the best thrills I've ever had as a sports fan here growing up in Minnesota. You represented us well, and you still do. You're a wonderful guy, John Randall, and we appreciate you joining us this morning, and hopefully we run into each other again.
I hope so, too. Go!
Thank you, John.
Skol, he says. All right. Thanks, John Randall.
The 93X Half-Assed Morning Show Backtracks Edition.
There's a new report on bathroom habits at work specifically. There's a new report I'd like to share with you on bathroom habits at work. Some people are spending a lot more time in the can than others. Sure. I mean, I'm the type of guy, when nature calls, I don't care where I'm at, I'm not bothered. I've said it before, I'll say it again. If all else fails, I'll remove the hat from my head or yours and use that as a toilet if I have to. And I will do it in a room full of people. I don't care. 1 in 12 employees, so that's not a lot, but 1 in 12 employees claim they've never coiled one at work. 34% of those people are scared to do so. Never left one log at work, ever.
I know some people who won't, home bowl.
Yeah.
Yep.
I know people who won't do it anywhere other than home.
And
much less just work.
That is so bizarre to me because the first thing that comes to my mind is, what are you, an Olympic athlete? How do you have the choice? Do you see what I mean?
Oh, you could be like Josh and, has issues where he'll go a couple days without having to release one.
Well, this is different, right?
This is different.
Because you got to go and you refuse to go.
Right.
And I suppose maybe for folks that just don't want to do it at work, they find their nearest KFC or something like that, or public library.
They've never used their work toilet. And again, some of it is out of straight up fear. So it's not constipation or anything like that. You have to go and you just choose not to. So that's my question. How in God's name do you have, what are you doing? What does your body have that mine doesn't, to where you can just refuse your body that, what's the word I'm looking for? That
release?
Act, that release.
When I was younger, when I was a kid, I used to hold it. We were talking about this not too long ago. Whatever I had going, I would hold it. And I would never have any number 2 accidents, but the number 1, that one definitely had quite a few of those.
Yeah, you did.
I became known for that.
How do you have the choice? That's so outside of how I operate. Nearly 1 in 5 folks at work refuse unless it's absolutely necessary. They'll hold it all day and wait until they get home.
I would say overwhelmingly people texting in right now, and thank you for your text, by the way, are saying that they like it because they get paid to do it.
Mm-hmm. You're on the clock.
Right. I've heard that slogan before. What is it again?
Pooping on company time. Boss makes $1, I make a dime. Something similar to that.
Right. They enjoy it. It's kind of an FU to the company. And plus, you can also pretend like you're in there taking a deuce and you're just not doing a damn thing. I used to do that a lot at my old warehouse jobs. I would just get tired of being on my feet and just pretend, oh, God, yeah, my stomach's really acting up. I just sitting there in the dead silence and do nothing. It felt wonderful.
More anxiety than hair. Jesus said if you refuse long enough, you hold it, and it eventually goes away. I remember that as a kid, too. And then you wonder, where did it go?
Come on. Well, okay, when you were a kid.
Yeah.
When you were a kid, I think I can remember that was achievable. As an adult, that's not achievable, especially if you drink and eat terrible foods, which all of us do. Well, most of us do. As an adult, how in God's name do you have the choice? Okay, I have a raging turd on deck, and I'm just going to refuse it? Well, your abs must be beautiful. Something is... You're built in a way that I'm not familiar with.
I've seen you in a panic where you weren't able to leave the studio. And you're like, oh, God, no, please not now. Tummy, you try and reason with your tummy. I step in and talk to your stomach.
Yes.
And try, because it's always like around 7-ish.
7:30.
Yeah, your stomach just drops.
Yes, it does.
Maybe it's the anticipation of talking to Randy Shaver. I don't know what's going on, but...
Things have greatly improved.
They really have.
My overall health has greatly improved because that 7:30 panic stomach turning over that you described, it was kind of a 50-50 shot at that point, whether I had to race out of the studio or not. As I've gotten older, it can be uncomfortable, but I can't remember the last time I just had to buck wild race out of here.
There was one time at work where I was holding it. I was working, it was right out of college. I was working at a small rental car joint. You know, there's only 4 of us in the whole office, 3 guys, 1 beautiful girl. And I knew that she had to go run somewhere at like noon, say. And it was on the schedule, so I was waiting until she left because we just had this tiny little thing about the size of the studio and just a one little stall bathroom, and I didn't want to do what I had to do with her present. So she gets her purse and her keys, and she heads out to go run this errand for work, and all right, I'm in the clear. So I head on off to the bathroom, and I unleash hell, and I take my time with it, and then I flush, I wash my hands, I walk out, and she's standing out there waiting to get in the bathroom, and she goes, I just thought I'd go to the bathroom before I make this errand. And she had to walk in there after what I just did in that bathroom. And, oh, man, my soul died that day.
Did you say anything to her? Like, dude, that wasn't me. I don't know what happened.
I don't know what happened over there.
I think I would have thrown that out. Like, that was not me. That was awful.
Well, the problem is I had been in there for about a good 5-6 minutes, you know, and I guess she
5-6 minutes.
Wow.
She had walked out and then immediately was like, oh, I should go to the bathroom. And she goes back and sees that the door is locked and I was in there. And
just tell her you passed out. Oh, so bad I passed out.
I don't know what one of the other 2 guys did in here.
5-6 minutes. That's kid stuff. My God.
It was enough time to know that I had done some damage in there, and it stunk.
Oh.
I know. I hated myself that day.
You know, a lot of folks who won't use the bathroom at work, they listed a lack of privacy as a problem. You know, it's a big 6-7 header, you know.
We've got
folks would prefer just a private bathroom with 1 toilet, right, as opposed to 3-4 people sitting hip to hip.
Yeah, I like the multiples, personally.
Again, it doesn't matter to me how many or how little or whatever.
We've kind of got a pooping bathroom here. I've noticed, so we've got a bathroom in the back that technically I don't think we're supposed to use anymore, but we've got a bathroom in the back next to the snack machine, so sometimes I'll hit the snack machine, run to the bathroom. It seems like there's always somebody pooping there.
That definitely is the poop bathroom.
Isn't that nice to have the snack machine right by the toilet?
Yeah. And, you know, so I don't think in the front bathroom, very rarely is anybody pooping there.
I guess I've never paid much attention to who's doing what, and I didn't know there was a difference really between one or the other.
I think it's just because there's multiple stalls back there. Mm-hmm. And there's not a lot of people that use that, but that's the number 2 bathroom I've noticed.
So the people who won't use the bathroom at work, they issued or they claimed one of the big issues is a lack of privacy. They'd prefer a 1-person lockable room like you would have at home. And we've hit on these marks before, but I'll let her buck again. Folks are embarrassed about the smell that they might create. They're embarrassed about the noises that they might cut loose.
Yeah, you become closer to the colleague when you hear them fart on the toilet.
Fear of judgment from coworkers. Concerns about cleanliness. Of course, there are folks who think if you set your naked ass on a public toilet seat, you're going to catch this or that, that nonsense. And then there's just shyness overall. You're just shy.
People are texting in saying toilet paper makes a difference, why they might want to wait to get home. The work stuff is terrible.
Yeah, but how do you wait? That's the word. That's the word that I can't understand. Wait, hold. How do you do this without feeling just miserable? You're built better than I was. If you can just hold, or, nah, I'll wait another 4 or 5 hours. What? Women are far more likely to dislike pooing at work.
I noticed Ashley hasn't said much of anything.
Yeah, that's not my favorite topic in the world.
I had a feeling it.
What, talking about pooping with 4 guys is not your favorite thing to get into?
Trust me, I've been feeling for you, Ashley, because I assume that's exactly what's going on here.
I definitely try not to do that at work because I guess the same reasons. It's just, I don't know, it's uncomfortable.
I guess, explain that part.
What's uncomfortable?
What do you mean
about
by
it?
uncomfortable?
Yeah, so is it kind of what we've been talking about?
Yeah, I rarely have gone into the bathroom and like just anywhere, and women are doing that.
Oh, seriously?
And usually, if they do,
Yeah, they don't
it's
do
usually
that.
an older woman.
Yeah,
So, like,
the
they're
older
more
you get.
so they're more comfortable. They're like, I don't care.
Well, and the less control you have, I think, as
Yeah.
you get
Yeah,
older. Sure, they're more comfortable. Yeah, the older generation, they don't think about things like this.
They're like, whatever. I've been around long enough.
The folks from my parents and Josh's parents' generation, your folks, the rest of you folks are quite a bit younger. The folks from my parents' generation, who were right around the same age as Josh's parents, this is not a conversation or a concern any of them had, ever. But we're so high maintenance now. We're so worried about this and that, where it's just nature.
Going back to how people can somehow hold it in throughout the day, not Jesus has a good point. It's not like everyone is holding in diarrhea. Holding down the log fort is easy. Holding back a liquid bomb is not doable.
Well, I think there's
It's
levels.
all the same to me.
There's certainly levels.
Yeah, obviously there's extreme cases, but it's all the same to me. Holding it in and waiting, I can't understand it.
What do you think?
What is this? I'm sorry, one more time on that topic. H-back delivery, Jesus. I'm a truck driver. Waiting for home isn't an option. If you're able to do that, you're a better person than me. And that echoes what I've been trying to say as well.
Yeah, the home bowl people are the most impressive to me because this is just at work, right? And probably someplace you are more than you're not, certainly. But if you're like on a weekend or whatever your schedule is, if you can just be anywhere and not want to go, that's impressive. Like my wife, whatever she's got going on, she will not use a porta potty.
Well, I mean, she's the healthiest lady in the whole world. That's got to help her overall situation.
Well, it's pee stuff usually, right? And so after having kids, she says she can't really hold it. I mean, like she'll sneeze and she's going to pee, right? That kind of thing. She has to pre-pee. And so if we're at like a kid's softball tournament, so you're there forever, right? She will not go to a porta potty. Just refuses.
My gosh.
Too gross for her. How about this
Ow.
one? What do you think of this? So this person says at work they have a center stall pooper no matter what. So there's 3 stalls.
Oh,
the person always goes in the middle.
No,
so
you don't do that.
If you got to go, you're sitting next to this person no matter what.
A center stall? Come on, you don't do that.
What do you mean you don't do that? What's wrong with that? I don't understand.
You take one on the end so that if the next person comes in, they don't got to sit, hip to hip with you in the next stall.
No, it's not a urinal. No,
Well, see,
that doesn't
I think
apply.
Same rules to me would apply if it's a urinal.
Definitely.
No, you got walls between you. What the hell's the difference?
You don't want to look at the guy's shoes when you hear him grunts with you.
What? I don't understand.
Well, I think it's weird if
it bothers you that there's another set of shoes in the stall next to you.
If you have, there's 3 open stalls and you take the one in the middle, that's not the
Take
move.
whatever one I want to.
Yeah, you don't do
That's
that.
not the move.
What are you afraid of? F your move. You poop where you want to poop. It's not a urinal. There's no exposed organs or anything. What do you call those things?
Well, the urinal often has walls in between, too.
And if there's a wall between the urinal, then those rules don't apply either.
No. I go into stalls every single time I go in the public bathroom. You try not to go where there's going to be people.
See, again, you younger people, you create problems out of nothing. You're creating issues that don't exist. If there is a wall between urinals, that throws out that don't go next to a guy thing.
Even still, if you have the option, you don't go next to somebody.
If you have the option.
Yes, if there's multiple, say there's 4 urinals, there's one guy in the far left, you don't go right next to him.
Unless there's a separator, then it doesn't matter.
Yes, it does.
No, it doesn't.
It absolutely does.
Well,
It definitely does.
No, it does not.
Yes, it does.
It's weird.
Yeah, that's so weird.
So weird.
Is this true?
See, it's a young people thing. It's a young people thing.
I don't know if it's a young people thing. I mean, if I was like at a Home Depot and there's 4 urinals and a guy came right next to me,
I'd be like, dude, what's
I would
going on
wonder
here?
what's going on here.
You guys are
Jiu-Jitsu Jesus says, I've heard that women go to the bathroom in pairs so they can hold hands and hover over the toilet seat while they pee. Is that true, actually?
No.
That's not why?
No, not at all.
I don't know what you guys are so afraid of.
Getting splashback if somebody else's pee on my feet?
I guess now we know who's the middle pooper.
Yeah.
I got no problem being the middle pooper. I don't understand that at all. And what the hell are you afraid of? Splashback? What? You never gotten pee on your feet from another guy? Grow up a little bit. It happens.
And it's disgusting. And if I can avoid it, I will.
Of course it's disgusting. It's just, I don't know. It doesn't really bother me.
Okay, I'll come pee on your feet sometime.
Well, now you're just going to directly pee. If you directly pee on my feet, I'm going to choke you to death on the floor of the bathroom.
Yeah, that's different.
Jesus, you young folks are so afraid of every damn thing.
Not a middle pooper.
Fine.
But you
I got
would
that
if
spot.
that's all you got.
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess.
All right.
The 93X Half-Assed Morning Show. 93
The 93X Half-Ass Morning Show podcast is sponsored by Standard Heating and Air Conditioning. New episodes drop each weekday. If your podcast platform has ratings, go ahead and give us 5 stars and maybe give our enemies 1. Thanks, and here's a word from our sponsor.
Dana here for Standard Heating and Air Conditioning. We all know January is one of the coldest months of the year, and not that cheery, fun kind of Christmas cold. Nah, just the dark, dank January cold. Standard Heating and Air Conditioning is well aware of this, and that's why they're offering $40 off a furnace tune-up to keep you warm during the Minnesota cold. The last thing you want is to be huddled around an iffy space heater you bought from some shady targeted ad. Oh, and how about this? Standard Heating and Air Conditioning has now been helping Minnesotans for over 95 years. So book your appointment now at standardheating.com. That's standardheating.com.